మా శరణ్ గారు వచ్చినప్పుడు కొంచెం చెప్పవా?
శరణ్ రాలేదా?
రాగానే ఒక్కసారి చెప్తే కో-హోస్ట్ చేస్తాను.
సార్ ఇనిషియేట్ చేస్తారు కదా సార్?
ఏమా?
సార్ ఇనిషియేట్ చేస్తారు కదా?
సార్ ఇనిషియేట్ చేస్తారు.
Yeah, Sharan has joined, I think.
Yes, sir. Just now I see.
Sharan, are you in?
Sir, is my voice audible,
Good
sir?
evening, Sharan.
Yeah, perfect, sir. Perfect.
Sir, is my voice audible, sir?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Perfect.
sir.
There is no problem. Absolutely. How is the climate there, sir? Sharon, sir? In Guntur? Sorry, in Hyderabad.
Not Hyderabad. He is in Chiamakurti.
Okay.
There, this cyclone effect is there, sir.
Okay.
I think he will have some intermittent internet loss.
Okay. So you have to cover the things, I think.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Allow me to share the screen.
Sharon,
Speaking, sir.
Sharon, you're connected. Are you connecting with your mobile phone?
Yeah, yes. Has not restored here actually. I stored at my home. Is my voice clear, sir?
No, sir.
It is somewhat breaking. Because of this cyclone effect, all the coastal districts got affected.
Yeah. By severe rain. But yesterday is very good rain. Shall we start the things, sir?
Let him rejoin, sir. I think he is yet to rejoin.
Okay.
Probably he's connecting through the internet is being taken from his phone, I think. Normal internet connections were not yet restored at many of the places which are affected by this cyclone.
Friends, we are waiting for the resource person and we are just about to start the program within few minutes.
What has happened is the majority of the speakers are from the coastal areas which have got affected by this cyclone. Thereby, we are facing this kind of issue.
Friends, also this is to intimate you that tomorrow our Pechi Tangwell ma'am will deal about the class by class analysis on the class by analysis of 3CD, and day after tomorrow, as usual, tax planning and documentation part will be dealt by, and accounting standards will be dealt by our past CCM Central Council member Sri Priya ma'am. So I request, I think you might have noted the things yesterday and day before yesterday being postponed to tomorrow and day after tomorrow. So current day sessions are as usual by our Sikasa chairman Netta Ramkishore Garu and also expert in Excel, Sharan sir. As usual, our secretary ma'am is ready for the opening remarks.
We'll do one thing, sir. I think we'll start and I will be let's introduce Sharan also, and I will start speaking, and whenever Sharan join, he will take up in between.
Okay, please go
I
ahead.
think it would be the right strategy for this session. Yeah, friends, students, members, and dear participants, you are all welcome to this session on tools which will be useful for the purpose of tax audit. As the chairman sir has already told you, tomorrow and day after tomorrow, the sessions which you have skipped earlier with regard to the documentation, planning, as well as standards will be dealt by Sri Priya madam, and Tangavel madam will be dealing with the clause by clause analysis that will be on tomorrow and after tomorrow. But today we'll be dealing with the use of technology and use of tools which will be helpful for the purpose of tax audit, which will be dealt by CIU Sharan Kumar and myself. We'll take you through, and you please bear with the internet connection because at our place, Vijayawada also, there are overcast conditions and our networks are also not stable to that extent. And Saren Kumar is also having some connection issues wherein he has overcast conditions and he's also got affected by the cyclone. So with this few opening issues which have been put before you, may I request our Secretary of Vijayawada branch, CS Rita Sharan Madam, to give her opening remarks. Please unmute and speak, Madam.
Really, it is very important topic because today everything is became online. So tools, so that if you learn some tools, it will be easy for us to audit in the better way, in speedy way. Please to participate and learn the things.
Yeah, thank you, Madam. It's over to our Chairman Sir to give his opening remarks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, my dear members and my dear students. Welcome to this, actually, in fact, day 5 session of the GST tax audit Hi-Fi. So we have done the first 2 days and also 5th day correctly. And 3rd and 4th days has been postponed to tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, as already intimated to you. And friends, as you all know that, as our Secretary Ma'am rightly pointed out, that the tools at present juncture are has to come to our rescue to do the tax audits. Whether it is a corporate audit, tax audit, it doesn't matter, because meeting personally is becoming very, very difficult in these conditions, either to the auditor or to the client or to public or to the staff, any point of view. So avoid those type of interactions. Use the technology at an optimum level. Use Zoom software. Whether it is a free or a paid one. Just use those things very frequently to interact with your clients, and also try to extract the things that are sent by them in a chronological way, and which is in a most useful manner. Of course, it is also serve the purpose of the documentation, because when he explains the things, a lot of things orally, we won't put it in a documented form. But when he sends some information on email or WhatsApp or whatever the case may be, it will be automatically documented, and you will be rescued at a later point of time that the information is being given by the client itself. Previously, we won't have that facility. So nowadays, it is becoming rather than boon rather than curse. So make use of this opportunity very, very well, and try to complete the audit that is allotted to us, that is given to us, and do it in a most professional way. Thank you. And with this brief intro, I request Netta Ravikishore Garu to introduce Sharan to you all. Thank you. And over to Ravikishore Garu.
Sir, Sharan has rejoined. Can you make him co-host, and also please allow him to unmute?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, dear friends, I take this opportunity to introduce to you CA Sharan Kumar. He is qualified as a chartered accountant in the year 2010. He has completed his diploma in the information systems audit from ICAI. He is also a certificate holder in forensic accounting and fraud detection, and concurrent audit course from ICAI. He has worked with Microsoft and Credit Suisse Bank for more than 4 years. Presently, he is the managing partner at T. Satyanarayana and Co. His specialization includes data analytics, forensic audits, transaction audits under IBC, automation of financial processes, reconciliations, etc. Having overall more than 10 years of experience in handling data analytical tools like MS Excel, etc. He has been regular faculty for FAFD certification course conducted by ICAI. He has been the guest speaker for seminars being conducted by ICAI and other institutions, name it CMAI, NASN, etc. on the topics of data analytics with MS Excel, audit under CBS environment, Excel as a bank audit tool, etc. Yes, sir. Sharan has joined. Did you make him the co-host, sir?
Yes, I made him, sir, because of his bandwidth. He could not able to. He kept only audio, and he could not able to open these things, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sridhar, you can do one thing. You
Sir,
may
I hope
also.
my voice is clearly audible now.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes,
audibility.
Sharon, it is audible.
So, sir, 1 minute before
Okay.
Sharan sir to commence, I request చాలా విషయాలు మన మనిషే కదా అని చెప్పేసి అని కొన్ని మనం ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేయటం కూడా కొంచెం మర్చిపోతూ ఉంటామండి. బట్ టుడే వీ హ్యావ్ ఏ కో స్పీకర్, అవర్ సికాసా చైర్మన్, మన మనిషి, మన మేనేజ్మెంట్ కమిటీ మెంబర్, అలాగే సికాసా చైర్మన్ నిట్ట రవికిషోర్ గారు. ఐ రిక్వెస్ట్ శ్రీతా షిరీన్ మ్యామ్ టు ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ రవికిషోర్ గారు to us all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's my great pleasure to introduce my colleague in Management Committee and today's resource person, C.N. Kishore. He is a fellow member of Institute and he is practicing for the last 22 years. And he is also the member of Institute of Cost and Management Accountants of India. He holds a diploma in Information Systems Audit and honors in System Management. He is the faculty of direct taxes and indirect taxes for the last several years and was a faculty for auditing for some more years. And he speaks at seminars organized by branches of ICAI, colleges, and various trade bodies about current and emerging topics. He is the faculty for orientation programs of newly qualified cost accountants. And he is also a YouTuber, and his videos are watched by thousands of viewers. And as a part of managing committee, he is elected to the managing committee of Vijayawada branch of SARCF ICAI for the term 2019-2022. For the year 2020-21, he is the chairman of Students Association of Vijayawada branch of SARCF ICAI. And he is also the member of Taxation Committee of AP Chamber of Commerce and Industry Federation, a state level body. Besides this, he is a person of very good character and helping nature. So many CAs in practice regularly ask queries whenever they get doubts. Without any hesitation, he helps everybody, and he is well-wisher for all of us. Thank you so much, sir, and for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. రవికిషోర్ గారి గురించి చెప్పడం అంటే నార్మల్గా మా ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్లో ఆయన అంటే కమిటీలో రాకముందు కూడా ఏదైనా ఒక క్లాస్ తీసుకుంటే ఐటీ కానీ లేకపోతే వేరే ఇండైరెక్ట్ ట్యాక్స్ కానీ ఏం తీసుకున్నా కూడా బయట హౌస్ఫుల్ బోర్డు పెట్టాల్సి వచ్చేది. ఎందుకంటే రష్డ్ విత్ సో మెనీ పర్సన్స్ అనమాట. మా హాల్ కెపాసిటీ 127 అయితే కనుక ఆల్మోస్ట్ 180 to 190 మెంబర్స్ ఎడిషనల్ చైర్స్ వేసి కూర్చోబెట్టేవాళ్ళం. ఇన్ అడిషన్ టు దట్ అంటే ఇట్ ఇస్ ఎ ఫిజికల్ ఫార్మాట్ దో, అంటే యాక్చువల్లీ ఇఫ్ యూ థింక్ దట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఏ మన ఇంటర్నెట్ ప్లాట్ఫామ్ అయితే కనుక వీ కెన్ అలో ఎనీబడి ఎనీ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ పర్సన్స్, బట్ ఫిజికల్ గా కూడా అంత క్రౌడ్ పుల్లర్ అనమాట ఒక రకంగా. సో ఐ రిక్వెస్ట్ రవికిషోర్ గారు అండ్ శరణ్ సార్ కైండ్లీ టేకప్ దిస్ టుడేస్ ఇష్యూ ఆఫ్ tax audit using tools. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those kind words. Sharon, will you start?
I'll take it forward, sir, because my bandwidth is up and down. So whenever it is little down, you can take it forward. I keep myself ready for 3 hours. Thank you so much for the Vijayawada branch. In fact, chairman sir and my guru. In fact, it's a great privilege for me. Today is little excitement also, because whatever little income tax I know today, whatever the little audit I know today, that is because of sir. I did my IPCC. We used to call it as a PU2 under him. Thank you so much for the Vijayawada branch keeping trust on me and inviting for the session again. So without taking much time, let me jump into the session. Today's session is more of using the tools. In fact, whenever anyone calls me, I only talk about more of tools related, connecting our regular subject. I'll be talking on different aspects today, including this is the session topics. I'll be covering a quick overview of the tax audit tools. I may demonstrate 2 to 3 tools throughout the course, throughout the session today. Let me give you the disclaimer also. In fact, maybe Ravikishore sir also may mention a couple of softwares which are very much helpful for the tax audit. You all need to understand we are not promoting or endorsing any of the tool here. This is just for your information. If you think the features are good, probably you can go and buy it. That's all. So after that, what are the minimum required skills which are required to do the tax audit with respect to the using the tools? Then I made a small summary. I'm sure this summary may be helpful to you at the time of peak session of the tax audit. Let's say if you have very less time to do the audit, where to start, and if you get the data or daybook into your Excel, and what are the minimum things you need to look into. I just made a small summary class by class. Then we'll talk about the very important aspect, how to convert any daybook. In the today's session, I'm taking the Tally because Tally is the one most of the users use it. So if the data is there in the Tally, how you can get the data into your Excel? Obviously, whatever the data you get into your Excel, you cannot directly work on the data because the data is not into a proper format. So we need to put into a format in such a way so that we can do a lot of analysis on that based on the classes which are asked for in preceding. Then how to analyze the data. So let me tell you, these are the tools which I recommend. Maybe if you know any other tools also, you can put in the chat box so that will be benefit for all of the members. Spreadsheet application, of course, this is one of the most important application. You need not to pay for every day or every month. Once you take it, that is for lifelong, or else you can go for a subscription model. Maybe you can go for Office 365. So in the spreadsheet, Microsoft Excel is one of the very important thing. Google spreadsheet, the relevance of Google spreadsheet is becoming very important day by day. That's why I just mentioned a point here. Google spreadsheet also, because I found one of the firm who are from Mumbai, 80% of their work they do completely in Google spreadsheet than the Microsoft Excel. The reason is that it is entirely cloud. However, Microsoft Excel is also in the cloud. But if you take Microsoft 365, then you may access the web related Excel. But when it comes to if you have a Gmail account, by default, the Gmail account is having a drive. By default, the drive is having a spreadsheet. So basic version that is already available. If you want to go for a little advanced version, you can even take the license to that. So Google spreadsheet is also one of the very important you need to concentrate. Accounting application tools, because I'm taking a Tally example here, let me tell you again, because most of the users or most of the professionals are using the Tally. That's why I'm just concentrating Tally. So Tally or any other ERP for that matter. In fact, when I talk about the conversion of the daybook, you can say that that is a standard procedure, not just for the Tally. You can take any related data, because the techniques which I'm going to tell you about in filtering the data using the pivot table, it's not only per se Tally, that is for any other ERP. So audit tools. Today, I would like to introduce you an important tool called IDEA. Whoever completed the practical training of BISA or FAFD, probably you might have heard about IDEA. Probably 1 day or 2 days, you might have heard, you might have practiced the IDEA tool. But today, why I'm taking the IDEA, because the sampling methodology in the IDEA tool is one of the very important tools. There is one more ECAT, though I'm not going to demonstrate, but you can Google it. That is also very nice, Indianized tax audit and audit related tool basically. So that's an Excel plugin. Their company is providing so many functionality with respect for the analysis, sampling, and so on. So when it comes to the analysis, Power Query and Power Pivot are two important things. Though we are not going to cover next 2 hours the entire things which I am keeping on the screen here, but why I put here, because if you know at least what are these tools, later after the session you can go back and you can take the demo version of it and you can start using it. That's the reason I just kept all these things in one slide. Though I'm not going to talk about all these things, maybe I'm going to touch upon small points about every tool. In fact, if you want to become an expert with respect to the analysis, let's say on the last day you got 10 clients for which you need to do the tax audit. You don't have a time. So my suggestion, in fact, I am also building one small tool for a different purpose, not the tax audit, but you can use the Power Query. Power Query is such a tool, you can transform your data, because tax audit throughout the India for every chartered accountant is same, right? So when there is a standard, you can put that standard in the model in the Power Query, and next time you can just run the Power Query. Then automatically the checks and balances and validation controls will come into your Excel, and for you, it will give you little leverage with respect to the risk control. So instead of just going a blind and signing the document, at least you can do a lot of analysis based on the checks and balances which are already there in the system. And at least a fair control you can have about the company. Maybe if you think for the company or the firm for which you are doing a tax audit, those validation controls are not properly fitting, then probably you can spend more time looking into the documentation and so on. When you have a less time, we need to understand the technology importance. So last two things are most important. Required skill set, obviously you must be good at analytical skills. So analytical skills in the sense of when you read a class in the tax audit, you must immediately get a point that okay, if I take a day book, in the day book, what are the filter I should keep and so on. Or else if you are looking into the tally itself, so where I need to go to the tally, or what is the functionality in the configuration I need to enable so that this particular class I can link to the tally. So that is basically the analytical skill. Spreadsheet skills are obviously required, because whatever the company or the firm or the SSC is using as an accounting application, I don't think so directly we can do the tax audit entirely in the ERP itself. Even be it biggest ERP in the world, SAP, or the small ERP like Tally, until the data comes into the Excel, it is very difficult to do the end-to-end audit to the accounting application itself. Many people think that when they join into the big company, like if they are using SAP or PeopleSoft or Oracle, Lesson, whatever the ERP you say, Infer, they think the ERP does the entire job. But unfortunately, ERP will never do the entire job for you. Maybe your analytical skill, something is a little outlier. Something suddenly you are looking into a class and you want to analyze in a X different manner. So that class may not be already fit into the ERP which already implemented. So you need to take the data, you should convert into a form so that you can analyze that particular class. So obviously every time SAP guys, they cannot call, or ERP guys, they cannot call the ABAP people who can write a program for every question what they get. It is only having the data. You need to get the data, you should work on. Obviously to work on the data, spreadsheet is something which is very much important whether you like it or not. Documentation skills. Documentation, the name itself is talking, is a documentation. Many people maintain the documentation in Excel itself. Some people do it in Word document. But if you ask me, you can use the combination of Excel and Word document. So let's say, for example, a particular class you are trying to explain or you're trying to report. If that is the case, after 5 years, if someone asks you the regulator, and let's say peer review happened on the same file. So if they ask you, how can you sign this with a validation of S? So for which you need to have something as an evidence to tell them that based on this tally, I just made this as a S. So to tell them that what is an entry, you should take a screenshot and you should keep it into the Word document. So how good you are with Control C and Control V, that much risk will get reduced. So along with Control C and Control V, before doing Control V, you must know what is a print screen. Many people don't use this, but that's not something a rocket science. Simply, if you think a particular screen is important while you are doing an audit, just click the print screen, go to the Word document, Control V. Just do Control V. Maybe after an entire audit, you can start giving a commenting to the each screen, so that becomes documentation. Maybe that even you can do after the season also. So that's the reason documentation skills are also very much required. Many people, they take pen and paper and they start writing. After the season, they put the book somewhere else. It's very difficult to identify where it is. So my suggestion, put either in the Excel or in the Word document, save it properly. Better you send an email to your boss also, so that even if you miss it, your boss may have that email. Or else you can just share with your colleague, or you can share it with the cloud. So the usage of the tools. So since today's session is not much on the Tally, but I'll just give you what are the different ways you can get the data from the tally. Of course, a traditional export option, you can simply click Alt E. There is a under E, there is an underline. The tally, I'm sure you all know the shortcuts. When there is a single underline, that means it's Alt combination. When it is a double underline, that's a control combination, and so on. So you go to any of the ledger, whatever you analyze, you can click Alt E. That will take you to a screen of the import where it's going to ask you a bunch of options. My suggestion, always take the detailed, because maybe if something is not required, I can delete. Maybe if you export which is condensed, something which is required, maybe you need to go to the tally again and you should export. So always download detail, then you can do the data cleansing. So you can clean the data, you can remove whatever the records which are not required to you, or whatever the rows which are not required, and so on. That is a traditional way of doing that. You can export to Excel using ODBC. Many people ask this question, what is ODBC? It is an online database connectivity. And if you do some work in the tally, that is getting stored into your system itself. Your system is acting as a server. So when it is on the server, that whatever the server folder or whatever the server computer in which the entire data will get stored. When you on the ODBC, your Excel is having a great connection of connecting ODBC documents. That is what I'm talking about, a ETL tools. ETL means you can extract the data from any source. In this case, what is the source? The tally ODBC is the source. Then you can transform the data. But unfortunately, there are no ODBC related thing which can download or export the entire daybook. ODBC can give you the ledger account balances, or maybe opening balances, or else ledger account related, how many fields are there, and so on. No ODBC supports getting the data or connecting the data into the Excel, the daybook. So daybook, if you want to export, you have to export manually, and you should do the analysis in the Excel. Or else, if you are a good coder, TDL you can use, tally definition language. So if you find a relevant TDL, probably you can use it. Let me tell you, my friends, you just Google it. There are so many people, okay, giving 100 TDLs or 150 TDLs for just 500 bucks. 500 rupees is a very small amount. They give you 200 different TDLs. You may be thinking initially looking into 10-15 TDLs. These all are not required. Very simple. My only point is, if you spend 500 rupees, in fact, I bought almost from one of the person 200 TDLs. He built a tally definition language. It's a small program in the text file. You can do it. And he made 200 different items and he sold for 500 rupees. But out of all those TDLs, even if one TDL helps you out, that may save a lot of time at the year end, or maybe at the date on which the due date is. So that is sufficient, because 500 we are spending and we are getting a relevant TDL. So just go to Google or go to YouTube, TDL I want to buy. You can find hundreds of websites where they are giving you just for 500 rupees. And if you want to get your own TDL, it's very simple. You can go to the tally and you can use the TDL option. You just paste that link. Anyway, once I go into the session, I'll explain. So that is also one of the way through which you can get the data into Excel. So this slide is only telling you what are the different ways. Directly from the ERP, I can take it. You may ask the question, Sharon, I'm not using tally. Let's say I'm working for some mid-sized company where they are using SAP Business One. Business One is for small and medium firms. They can use the SAP version, but it's a B1 they call. So if that is the case, for your information, every ERP is having ODBC connection. Every ERP. Maybe in the tally related ERP, where at the backend it's a TDL. Maybe if you want to get the data from different databases, you may need to write some little coding about SQL, because at the backend, every data will be into the tabular format. If you want to read the table, or if you want to retry the information, or if you want to query a particular information, you must need to use the SQL. You can just Google it, small SQL codes. It's always good to know. So in a table from this, and so you can, it is a very simple English language, but you must be a little familiar with the language. Once you're familiar, you can get the data. So once you get the data, if you ask me, entire tax audit is more of filtering. How good you are in the filtering, then 80% of the work is done. But if you want to filter the data must be properly into the structured format. But the tally data was dumped, obviously not in the structured, that is in the unstructured. To convert the unstructured data into the structured data, there are many shortcuts, are the features, are the techniques we are going to use. In fact, this is what I demonstration. Conversion of the tally data into a proper daybook of Excel. And in the daybook, once you get the daybook, from the daybook, how can you take the samples, analyze the cash related transactions, because I'm going to talk about 40A or 269 ST, SS, and so on. So filtering the data is very important.
I think we lost his connection. He will be rejoining in no time. In the meanwhile, what I will do is I will take you through some of my thoughts. The first one, what I want to bring to your notice is already our Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has issued a guidance note, which will be very, very useful for the viewers and also the, please unmute. Okay. Yeah, Sharon is back. Chairman sir, are you there?
Sir, go ahead, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you can go ahead, sir.
Okay, sir. And what I will do is just I will take some 5 minutes and then again hand it over to you, right? Yes.
Sure.
So, okay. Now, let me share you the screen. First of all, I want to bring to your kind notice, it is not that you do not know, but just to refresh your thoughts, I will share you the tax audit guidance note, which is already there, and it is available for a download on the ICA website also. And we will be sharing this in the chat box as well as the this hi-fi WhatsApp group, which has been created. Now, this will be a useful handbook for you. And also in 2018, there were certain amendments. And for those amendments, an implementation guide has also been given. And this is the publication of the Institute with regard to the implementation guide with relation to notification dated 20th July 2018. So these two books will be very much handy to the practitioners as well as the students in carrying out the tax audit. And also, as recently as last month, our institute has released one publication called Approach to Tax Audit. Approach to Tax Audit checklist. This has been given both in the Word format as well as a PDF format. Actually, the earlier version of the guidance note is a bit older, and it is due for review, and it is due for the updation. But however, I think the institute is in the process of revising the earlier guidance note and they are trying to bring a new one. But before they do that, what they have done is they have brought in a checklist. And this is the publication. This will also, most of you might be knowing of this, but we'll also be sharing this with you. And this is a recent publication that has been released in the month of October 2020. This is just like a form of a checklist, wherein we'll be for each and every class, what are all the important considerations that have been taken into account, and this also act as a form of a documentation. And also they state as to what, whether it should be a permanent file or a current file, everything has been given. Now this is the PDF format. Also they have released a Word format, wherein for each and every one of your client, you can use a fresh blank document so as to prepare the documentation for that particular client. This is the Word document. These publications are available for download from the ICA website, and we will also share these publications as a matter of ready reference for you. Sharon, I think you are there.
Sir, I'm there.
Sharon, can you hear me? Yeah, you continue. I will take at a further point of time.
No problem, sir. Yeah.
Right. Continue.
Friends, this is just I'm sure you all open this website at least 10-15 times every day, especially on the tax day, that is either July 31st or on September 30th or whatever the due date, we open hundreds of times. But I just would like to take you one small important thing. Generally, earlier I used to have a small startup, so where we used to prepare the utilities in the Excel format. So that's why I always refer this. So one important thing I recommend for the students as well as members to look into, you can just go to the IT preparation software. And if you want to get familiar with what are the changes every time it is doing at the back end, you can just go to the XML schema and you can go to the other forms. Basically, this is the place where you can have all the utilities, and this is the place where you can have other forms that includes 3CB, 3CD, 15CA, and so on. And this is for the DSC related utility, and this is the XML schema. Now, I'm 100% sure 90% of the users don't look into this. They think it is something software related. But maybe you are correct 50%, but not entirely software related, where you can also understand something. If you look here, it is form schema. I'm not looking into this schema, but if you look here, version 1.22, this is something where income tax department keep a track of every change what is happening. Because sometimes while you are analyzing the data, or maybe while you are looking into the classes, or maybe if you want to understand at the back end at what point of time they introduced this particular class, then you can open this PDF copy. In fact, I've already downloaded and I kept into the folder. This folder will be shared with you a little later after the session. Now let me share the screen of this PDF copy. Okay, not only this, my friends, every ITR copy or every form which is available in the income tax department, the schema related change document which is available to you. If you look here, just a quick glance, very recently they changed 4th November. Let me tell you, 22 times they changed from the first introduction of e-filing of tax audit. If you go a little down, these all are different dates. If I remember correctly, for 14-15, for the first time, I think tax audit they introduced. Then this is the initial schema release. Then it's 2.1, 2.2, and so on. And let me go down. They always give you the latest one at the bottom. You just go to the bottom. This is just a flag related. That means software related change at the back end. Maybe whenever if you are using a Winman or any other software, those people look into the schema changes and they immediately do the modification. This is one small change immediately they might have done. Maybe if you remember properly or carefully, on 4th November or 5th November, your Winman might have updated with this change. If you go a little up, maybe this is not relevant for us. Maybe if you go a little up, see it out. On 22nd November, there is a change. There are a lot of changes. In fact, after 22nd November, since there are so many changes, everyone given a message to the department that since you added these many new classes, how can we complete our tax audit and so on? See, check it out. Every change what they do in the tax audit, you can just go through this, especially for the students. This is very relevant because you are the guy or you are the person who are filing the tax audit form. While filing, you may get so many errors. Once you find the error, by looking into the error, you must be in a position to know what went wrong. So many people may not look into this, but you can just go through this. If you look here, there's a new field which been added in the 3CB form as 8A, class number 8A. That is nothing but all the new sections, whether they are claiming that taxation and so on. So if you go here, these are all small things which you can find it. Okay, just for the information, I'm just trying to show you. Let me take you to one of the Excel which I'm going to work on. Yeah, I referred in my PPT class by class analysis as well as the usage of Excel in this. Before going into that, let me tell you, I just made all the errors here, okay, a document. These all from different schema documents. Whenever you find an error, okay, you can just filter here. I'm sure, including the text, your error is exactly this. I don't think so. Other than this, you'll find any error out of your entire 3CB, 3CD. It looks like very small form of 3CB and 3CD. For your information, the form is having 986 different validation controls. When you do a small mistake, all these validation control triggers. Of course, errors may not come because we are using a Winman 90% of the cases that picks up the data and put into a correct field and so on. But if you are a student, my suggestion in the tax audit season, at least file 5 to 6 returns, income tax returns, especially for the companies or firms, using the income tax return utility than Winman, because that will give you a lot of subject. Because you are going to look into every field and understand exactly what it is. If it is a Winman, you just need to keep on pressing F9 and it does the entire job. Of course, you need to put the data inside, but many cases it suggests you what you need to enter. But if you ask me, that is not a proper way. At least 2 to 3 files, file the return using the utility for subject purpose. And you can put the error message and you can understand where that error is coming, in what form, and whether it is required or not, if whether it's invalid or whether it is a length related error and so on. This gives you a little glance about the entire 3CB and 3CD. And first thing, if you want to do anything with respect to the taxation, in fact, I have covered this small Excel related feature many a times in the Vijayawada branch itself and along with the Vijayawada branch many sessions. But again, for the new people who are watching this session, whenever in the Excel, if I want to, for example, suddenly one section is there in the tax audit where generally they only mention about the section name. In the tax audit clauses, if you look here, they only talk about a section name. I don't think so. They entirely mention about section description and so on. If that is the case, every time you need to go back to the Google, or you need to go back to the Bear Act, or you need to go back to the Ready Reckoner and look into the section number and exactly what that section talks about. Instead, just at least to know the headings, there is a custom list feature which is very much important. Now let me select this entire data. Okay, if you all observe, I just kept my cursor here. Let me select this entire data. In the first column, IA is nothing but an Income Tax Act. -SEC is a section number. -293A is a section number, and this is a description of that section. If you observe, I kept IA because I can use the same technique to save all, even GST sections, all Companies Act sections, all FEMAS related sections and so on. So just for the identification, I made this. You can go to the file tab. I hope this Excel file is visible to you. Let me go to the file tab. Let's go to the options. I'm sure in the options you can find the advanced. Let me go to the end. You can find edit custom list. Are you finding here there is an import list from the cells? Yes. Once you keep the cursor, because you already selected, the same thing will blink, because it is just telling you that this selection already selected in the formula bar provided here. Once you click import, what it does, it's going to logically ask you a question. Mr. Sharon, do you want every column must add as a list, or do you want every row must add as a list? I want every row must be a list, because if I put IA section 1, I should get the description. IA section 2, I should get the description and so on. So once I click import, it's going to ask rows or columns. Let me select the rows, click OK. Cells without simple text or ignore, it's okay. Let me click OK. Wonderful. I just did nothing except taken this data into my, yes, I'll do that. Friends, let me show you again. Let me clear all my custom list data. This is a small macro. I made it for myself because I'm taking the session many a times. So I'm going to use the same feature again and again. Adding 100 items into the custom list is a very click of button. But if you want to delete 100 items, you have to do it manually, one after other. So that's the reason this is a small macro. You just click it, so that if I go back to the file tab, go to the options, then go to the advanced, then come to the end of this, edit custom list, everything got removed here. Now keep the cursor here. It got already selected. Once I click import, it is asking me, do you want every row must be a list or every column must be a list? I want every row. Let me click OK, and let me click OK finally. Let me click OK. Now, what happened, let's say I'm trying to work on with the tax audit, and in some of the class, there is a section I found is IA section, let's say 48. Now, if I want to know what exactly the section 48, now when I drag it, wow, expenses are payments not deductible in certain circumstances. Let's say I want to know, let's say IA iPhone section, iPhone 32, maybe one of the class where I am talking about the depreciation or whatever it is. So I just made it. Let me just select this. You got the depreciation. Okay. That beauty, this small feature give you. You can take anything. In fact, for that matter, you can simply remove this. What happened if I remove that and drag this? Since I selected all these sections, when I drag it, what happened, all these sections, I'm sorry, let me drag towards right side. Descriptions comes automatically. Wow. So what it is doing, it is understanding this, and these two are related to the same list. So when you select, when you put this is coming automatically. So you can do it for CGST, SGST, or you can even for Companies Act, you can do a lot of things. This can be a handy before you are doing any tax audit or anything with respect to the tax audit. So that is one thing which I would like to cover. And this is error analysis. You can find this from the schema document. There is a document called properties. You can open that document in the text file and you can get all items. Okay, so let me go into this 3CD analysis. 3CB is very simple. It is just asking about the financial year, assessment year, and relevant with respect to the tax audit, auditor information, and so on. So I'm not going into 3CB. Let's look into the 3CD. Even in the 3CD, class by class, okay, I'm sorry. Even in the 3CD, part A is very simple. In fact, very recently they have added this, October 24th. Okay, so let me highlight this in yellow color. So whether the SSC opted for taxation under section 115BA, 115BAA, 115BAB. I think earlier faculty in the high five second session, if I'm not wrong, that faculty explained very well about when this is applicable and so on. In fact, I'm not technically that sound to give you a lot of insights about this. But as you all know, corporate tax earlier used to be only 30%. They reduced to 25%. They further reduced it to 22 and 15% also. So with respect to 22 and 15, there are a couple of conditions you need to satisfy. So before filling the tax audit form, you need to give a declaration in the part A of the 3CD whether they are opting any of these. If they are opting any of these, then the tax rate may be 15%. Of course, with surcharge and education cess, whatever the cess of 4%. So I'm not going into that. But why I made this as a separate one? Because you may be doing a tax audit for 100 clients. So when a new client comes, in fact, in my office, we follow that. We make a master data of every client. What the master data must have? Master data must have every information about whether it's constitution, whether it's a firm or company or whatever it is, every information, including the name, address, PAN number, GST number. If it is having GST 5 numbers, all 5 numbers. What is the status? What is the previous? This is extra thing which we need to add. So what I'm trying to do, I just made a small format. This must be handy before yourself starting the season. Okay, so I just made the client 1 to client 100. This can be acted as a document. This can be acted as a ready reckoner for you. Later point of view time, whenever you want to quickly fill the data, you can just start filling the data here, and this entirely you can save it in the templates. So whenever it is required, you can just modify this. template is one of the very important thing in MS Excel. As you all know, template is something, let's say I want the same type of format. I have 5 staff in my office. All 5 staff has to use the same format. Then what I'm going to do, I'll send this file to
We'll wait a second if he rejoins. I think we lost the connection completely. So let me continue for some time before Seren rejoins. I think we need to bear this all this day because of certain overcast conditions at all the places, especially in the coastal belt of our country. Right. Previously, I was referring to the some of the publications which were uh, published by ICA and brought to your notice that these are very important for the purpose of conducting our tax audit. Now, Seren is dealing with certain tools, mainly till now he was dealing with Excel, wherein from the accounts, the data has to be imported into Excel for the purpose of analysis. Now, the tools are very, very important and useful in conducting the tax audit. Now, let us say there may be certain senior practitioners, chartered accountants who are conducting the tax audit who are not that much tax savvy. They are well experienced and they know how to conduct the audit. But in these technological days where the technology has advanced to quite a large extent, and also we have various tools that have been developed, it's not a wrong thing to utilize the tools for the purpose of conducting the audit. Let us say Seren is an expert in Excel. He can extract the data, he can play with Excel, he can analyze with Excel. Let us say I am not that much tech savvy, or I am not that much expert in Excel, or let us say for that matter, though I know as to how to extract data from any of the accounting software into Tally, and also I know how to analyze that. But at times it may so happen that we may not be having that much time at our disposal in order to carry out those entire steps for the purpose of our analysis. Now, some people have developed certain tools. Let us say, we all very well know that you have a rush of clients at the dead end date of the tax audit. Now, in such a situation, in certain cases, we may not be having that much time at our disposal. In those special circumstances, these tools will be very handy for the purpose of carrying out the tax audit. As Seren already mentioned, we are here not to promote or not to canvas for any of the persons who have made the tools, but for the purpose of my convenience, I have subscribed to one such tool wherein I would like to demonstrate that particular tool so that you may also have an idea as to how that tool is developed, and also you may just have an idea as to what are all the checklists that can be utilized for the purpose of this tax audit. Now, this particular tool, what it does is it will extract information from these various softwares. Now, this tool, what it will do is, let us say in Tally, previously Seren was referring to something called as a TDL file. Now, these TDL files are useful. And once you import that TDL file, what will happen is it will come and sit in the gateway of Tally.
The things there, ma'am.
Now it will come and sit in the gateway of Tally. If you observe here, sir, Chairman, sir, if you can mute yourself.
No, thing is, you can condense it for 2 hours. There is no problem, absolutely. This previously everybody has asked for the 3 hours. That's why.
Chairman, sir, please mute yourself, sir. Right. There is a tool called MDA Audit tool. If you go to the web and search for MDA Audit tool, MDA Audit tool. MDA Audit tool. Is my Internet Explorer visible to everyone? Can anyone reply, please, in the chat box? No. Yeah. What I will do is I need to share this one, I think. Just a minute, please. Yes, now I think you should be able to view this Internet Explorer. Can anyone confirm, please? Right. Thanks for that. So you can search for MDA Audit tool. Now this is the tool which has been developed by some private agency. Now what I have done is I have subscribed to this tool. Of course, they have some dynamic pricing. If you are interested, you can contact them. Now we'll be given access to that. This is also a cloud-based tool. What you can do is you can log in, right? Now what you have to do is you have to extract your data from your accounting software into this particular tool. So let us say this tool will allow Tally, import of data from Tally. If we go, let us say, let me select an SSC, and for various assessment years, you can import data of that particular SSC. Now for this particular SSC, what I have done is I have imported the data for 2021. So here in this tool, you have something called as import data. Now what we have to do is we have to import data into this tool. Here you have click here to download a Tally TDL file. So TDL file Sharon was referring to us earlier. Now if we take this file and place it in Tally, then it will go and sit in the Tally gateway. Now once you open your client in the Tally and then click on that TDL file, what it will do is it will create a text file. It will create a text file. Let us say I have given a text file which is lying on my desktop, there is a file called as, let me show you. Let us say this is Delight 1 and Delight 2. These are the two text files which have been extracted from Tally with the help of that TDL. Okay. Now why there are two files? Because the data is huge, and hence what I have done is for the first 6 months I have extracted one text file, and for the next 6 months I have extracted another text file. So with this, what you can do, you can import these two text files which have been created by using the TDL of that particular MDA Audit tool. And there is another client for whom I have also extracted the text file by name Badari. In that, since the data is not that much huge, it has been extracted in a single file. Means from 1/4/2019 to 31/3/2020 at a stretch in a single file I have taken. Now let us what we will do is we will try to import this Delight 1 and Delight 2 into this software. delete 1 and delete 2 into the software, right? So I'm going into this. What I will do is go back, and there I will select delete. Now in the delete for assessment year 2021 till now, no data has been imported. If you observe, summary of data imported is total groups 0, total accounts 0, total vouchers 0. So what I have to do is, I hope the MDA audit tool screen is visible as of now. Can anyone confirm, please? Can anyone confirm? Yes, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you. Right.
Perfect.
Right. Now, what we can do is you go to the import data, and what are all the other softwares from where, accounting softwares from where you can import. These people have given the options for you to import from Tally, Excel, Busy Excel, FarVision. Now, almost all the softwares, accounting softwares, will have an option to export the data into Excel. So if these people are not able to provide you direct to import directly from the other software, what you can do is from that software you have what you have, you export it to Excel, and from Excel you will be able to import into this particular software. Now let's try this. Since we have created the text file using the TDL file provided by these people, what we'll be doing is click here to import data from the MDA Tally text file. So what I have done is I have to browse those files. Now let me go there, and first I am giving the path of delete one, which is the data or text file relating to the first half of the financial year 1920, for that matter assessment year 2021. Now what we need to do is, once this has been done, what we have to do is we have to import. So I will click on import. Now this software is trying to import the data from the text file that has been created by the TDL of this tool, which has been extracted from Tally. Now the file has been imported, and it is working on that file to import all those transactions relating to the first half of 1920 into this tool for the purpose of our analysis. It may take a while, maybe a minute or two. Now what it is saying is data has been imported successfully. Do you want to import other parts of the daybook? Yes, I want to import the other parts of the daybook also, because the data being huge for this. So what we have to do is we have to click yes. Do you want to import other parts of the daybook? Yes. Now it is asking us to choose the file. Now what I have to do, I have to select delete 2. So I have selected delete 2 and again click on import. So the second half transactions of financial year 1920 will also be imported into this tool, so that all the full year's transactions will be available for the purpose of our analysis. Now this has been done. Now further we do not have any other parts to import. So what I will do is, do you want to import other parts of the daybook? I'll click on no. So once the daybook parts have been given to it, now what it does is it will update the closing balances based upon the daybook which has been extracted into this tool. Once the closing balances are updated, we are done with, and we can go for the analysis part of it. In the meantime, Sharon, are you in? Just to confirm.
No, sir. Sharon is not there.
Okay, I think you might have contacted him by this time.
No, sir. He's not able to get.
He's not reachable, I think. Yeah. We'll do one thing. I will continue with the session so that whenever he joins, we will accommodate him.
Sure, sir.
So it is taking a while for updating the closing balances. Chairman sir, Saran is in the session. You may, he has posted a message in the chat box. You may make him a co-host and try to unmute him. Now, closing balances got successfully updated. So,
Sir,
yeah, Sharon.
sir, sorry, I am in the session for the last 10 minutes. In fact, I was looking into the login part also. Since I cannot speak, so I was sending messages. It's okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Sharon, will you permit me to continue for 10 more minutes and then
Yeah,
shall I
please,
hand it
sir.
over to you?
Sir, my pleasure, sir. You can go ahead, sir.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Right. My dear friends, since we have imported the data into this tool, what I mean to do is, my dear friends, when you are students, when you are newly qualified, when you are up to 10 years of experience of your practice, you have much time at your disposal. You have the zeal and enthusiasm to work on certain Excel tools, etc. And you will be enthusiastic yourself to do it yourself, even though it is time consuming. But let's take an example of mine where I am a 2-decade old experienced chartered accountant. I may not be in a position to spend that much time on a particular analysis as you can do. So I for one, what I will be happy with, more than happy, is that if I have any reports which are present on my desktop for the purpose of my review and for the purpose of my advising the client or the article assistants or paid assistants to check up this particular item a little bit more, or you may skip this particular item with a limited review, like those things. If I have a dashboard with me, I will be more than happy. Now let's check whether this tool can fulfill my wish. So let's go into the audit checklist. Now it is preparing a checklist for me for the purpose of my review, my overall birds review. I don't suggest that this is only the audit, but this type of tool or this tool may help me for the purpose of at least planning, or at least for the purpose of selection of various records for the purpose of my audit. I don't say per se this is audit, but this will assist me in conducting my audit to a great extent in my view. Now this is a dashboard audit checklist which has been prepared by this particular tool for the purpose of my preview or review or analysis. Now let's go into the checklist one by one. It's saying that opening balance is tallied. Opening trial balance is tallied, closing trial balance is tallied. One of the initial task of the audit will be whether the last year closing balances have been carried forward to the current year, and whether the last year closing balance is same as the current year opening balance. Now, if we give the last year data also, or import the last year data also into this particular tool, we have an option whether that thing has been complied. That is the last year closing balance, whether it is tallying with the current year opening balance. There is one of the option which will check for us automatically. Now let us go into the sales part of it. Now one thing what it is saying is debtors account with credit balances. Now what happened is there are some debtor accounts with credit balances. We all well know that a debtor should definitely have a debit balance. So what is the reason for which a debtor is having a credit balance? Maybe a creditor is classified as a debtor, or some advance has been given. Then we have some disclosure mismatches as far as this account is concerned. Now what we can do is we can go into the tally data and just check what has happened, or here itself what we can do, debtor account with credit balance. So what are all these debtor accounts which have a credit balance? Why a credit balance is appearing in this? Is there any classification wrong with respect to these accounts? You can go into that particular account, you can examine and determine whether this has to be classified as a something else, or whether this is this represents an advance, and whether the classification has to be given as advance or something like that. So this you can understand. Or else the another one, debtor accounts with no entries of sales. So what are all the generally sundry debtors are those who with whom we have made sale transactions should be classified as a sundry debtor. There may be certain cases wherein you have given some cash advance or a cash loan or an adjustment of cash which has been made with the other person, or you might have given some advance to your brother and it might have been classified as a debtor. So those type of classification mismatches can be avoided, and you can see here only opening balance is there and no debit entries are there. So this is the transaction. So some money has been we have this balance of 50,000 rupees, and also this is there are no transactions in this particular account, or there are debit entries other than sales. So in certain accounts which have been classified as a debtors, there are no sales entries. So without sales entries also they have been classified as a debtor. So whether any reclassification of these accounts have to be made or not. And accounts having entries of sales but not classified as a debtors. Debtors older than 6 months. In the income tax return form for firms, etc., companies, etc., you might have to give the debtors aging schedule, more than 6 months and less than 6 months. So you have a ready-made information, because in Tally sometimes it may so happen that you may not enable the bill by bill transactions. Then in such situations you will not be in a position to extract the age-wise schedule in the Tally itself. Now in such a case this tool might be helpful for you. So that information is available. Then accounts classified as debtors with the payment entries. So in these, so what are those accounts? So these are the accounts. In this account, there is a one payment entry. So why there has been a payment entry? Is this represent a sale, or first the money has been received, or later the sales transaction entry has been passed, or why this has happened, or there has been any dishonor of check or sort of thing that can be understood from this checklist which has been given. Now debtors accounts having no GSTN numbers. Now this will be more useful in respect of creditors wherein purchases have been made from unregistered dealers, and it will also be useful for the purpose of conducting the GST audit also, wherein in respect of certain categories of goods, some reverse charge mechanism might be applicable, where you might let's take the example of tobacco, cashew, something like that, wherein that in 9(4) section you might be having this procurement from unregistered dealers, wherein you are liable for reverse charge mechanism. This particular checklist point may also be useful for the purpose of ascertaining that reverse charge applicability in respect of GST. Now coming to the purchases part, we have this same, what are all the points which are relevant in debtors will also come in creditors. Now here, one more thing, cash payment above 10,000 rupees. Now all these have been populated. If we observe, there are 307 entries in this regard. Does it mean all the 307 are a violation of the particular section of 40A3? Maybe or may not be. Let's say here there are some bank transactions, contra entries. So for contra entries, it is not applicable. If you observe, there is a payment of 35,000 to this partners. So this cash payment to partner, it is not applicable in respect of partners. So here you can easily ascertain and you can have a bird's eye view of any of the violations that have obtained, and wherein certain transactions which need not be reported, what you can do is you can just simply eliminate those transactions, right? You can also have a review of cash receipts above 2 lakhs. This is section 269 section, if whether it will be hitting here the cash receipts. So why there are cash receipts? It is saying that the sales and that amount is 3,38,000 rupees. Now how can this be done? Now is it possible? It is not possible. You can go into that particular you can drill down that transaction further, and you can examine what has happened. GST sale, output, rounded off cash. So what has happened is this invoice is this voucher number 2 is only for 9,561 rupees. So why this is showing is on that particular day there are cash sales totaling to more than 2 lakhs of rupees. So this has been listed in this particular area. Now you can examine whether for a single voucher, whether the amount exceeds that much amount. So what I mean to say is, so many types of dashboarding, like a negative cash balance, whether there is any negative cash balance during the year, whether what is the highest cash balance that has been held during the year on any point at any point of time, what is the lowest cash balance, and what is the average cash balance. So you can get a bird's eye view. Whether any entries are posted on holidays. Now these 3 entries have been posted on holidays, and that too contra entries. So cash deposited in the account on a holiday. Is it possible to do that? Of course, previously it might not be possible, but nowadays you can deposit the money in the what you call the cash deposit machine, and you can, so on and so forth. Others, opening trial balance matched with the previous year trial balance. This is what I was referring to you earlier. Because we did not give the opening trial balance last year, data was not imported into this tool. So here we find a dash here. Now accounts squared off during the year. Loans accounts adjusted, sales invoice analysis, duplicate GSTN in different parties. Now what has happened is, you have 2 accounts, Srinivasa Agency Lakshmipuram, Srinivasa Agencies Lakshmipuram. So what this fellow has done is, at the time of entering into a particular transaction, he has created the Srinivasa Agencies account. What happened after some time? So the sales have been made one time, he has opened an account. When the money has been received in the bank account, he has opened another account, it seems. So there are 2 accounts. One may have a debit balance, one may have a credit balance, which have to be squared off. Now these type of errors or these type of omissions or commissions can also be found out, and we can advise them so as to make the accounts more compliant.
Sir,
Right?
sir,
Yeah, tell me.
maybe this can be connected to maybe on the same day he need to make a payment of 20,000 approximately. So he made 2 accounts and made it 9,000, 9,000, something like that.
Yes. So what we can do is, Sharan, we can go into the tally and just check what has happened.
Yeah.
So this is now what I have done is, yesterday only I went into this tally prime. So what I need to do is I need to come out of this. I need to come out of this and open a new company. Are you versatile with this company? But so we need to go
Tally Prime,
into.
they recently started. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
We need to go into the other company. Just a minute. In the office, I have this multi-user auditor edition in the laptop, and also I should tell our viewers and participants that as a part of ICA offer, if you are having a laptop and your multi-user license at your office, and if you want this software in your laptop also, you will get a tally rental, which is normally 3,600 plus GST for 6 months. It is available at a discounted price of 50%. So I have availed that offer and got this in onto my laptop. Now, because the earlier this one is in the older version, so I need to migrate it into the Tally Prime.
Sir, in the meanwhile, quickly, can I show you? Can I show them the TDL import? How to quickly import the TDL?
You do that. You do that.
Yeah, friends. In the meanwhile, let me tell you very quickly, because Ravi Kishore sir and myself, we both are talking about TDL. TDL is something a tally definition language, as you all know. Let me go to my tab. This is what basically you will get it once you select the company. Once you select the company, you will be into the gateway of Tally. Whatever the TDL is a Tally definition language. That means it's like a plugin in our Excel. How you are using ASCAP utilities, ECAT, or whatever the add-ins. In the same way, the add-in for the Tally is a TDL. So let me show you. I told you, right? One guy who sent me 200 TDL for 500 rupees. These are the bunch of the TDLs. But of course, 80% of the TDLs are very small TDLs. But whenever I get time, I just taken this just for my understanding to know the TDL better. So once you open a file, as I said, this is a simple English language into the text file. Maybe if you have little interest, you can buy it with 500 rupees and you can analyze and you can build your own TDLs. Let's say, for example, if this TDL I want to import, then what I can do, let me go here. Let me go to F12. As you know, F12 is to configure. This is F12. In that, are you finding the advanced configuration? Let me click this. Okay, make sure that this is both, and ODBC server is also S. You can put the port either 9000 or 9005. It is based on the TDL what you use. Now you can go for product features. In the product feature, F4 is something where you can find or manage all the TDLs. Local TDL means which is not coming along with your tally, but which you are importing. Now let me click this. So are you finding your load TDL on startup? Yes. Then here, let's enter. You can keep on entering. Once I enter, it's directly taking me here.
Yeah,
Now this is already one TDL I kept over there. Now let me take one more TDL.
May I interrupt you?
Yeah, please, sir.
What happened is the screen of Tally is not visible now.
I'm really sorry, sir. I'm really sorry.
Because we do not have the sharing of the desktop.
Correct. I got it, sir. It's my mistake. Yeah, friends, this is the gateway of Tally. And from here, I went into the F12, which is nothing but configure. In the configure, you can find product features. All right. In that, you can find all the existing TDLs and add-ins. I already kept one TDL here. If you want to manage all the TDLs, you can click F4. As I already told you, TDL is a small text file. You just need to enable, load the TDL on the startup. So if you have 10 TDLs in your company, all the 10 TDLs will come one below other. Right? Already there is a TDL called a TDL sample. I don't want to touch it. Let me go to the other TDL. Let me show you this folder. Yeah, this is the folder. Now let me right click. You can go to the properties. I'm sure you can find the properties. Go to the security. Are you finding your object name? Right click. Sorry, just select this entire one. Control C. Now you close it. What I can do, let me go back to the tally. You can simply paste here. Control Alt V. Enter. Enter. Click S. I don't know what is the TDL. It just loaded. If you observe, so from the Dropbox resources, Tally TDL been loaded. Now, if I go back to my here, you can find that extra addition here. Okay. So in the same way, whatever that will get added into the gateway of Tally, but in fact, I'm not sure exactly. This is create additional column in the invoice. If invoice enabling is already there, then you can create the additional invoice. So whenever you go to the invoice option, you can find this TDL. So like this, now this is something I'm not sure what is this WhatsApp TDL file. Very quickly, let me do it again. Let me go to the security. Let me select the name of this TDL. So let me just select this TDL file. I'm sorry, 1 second. Let me go to the properties. If I'm not wrong, you're finding still tally, is it? Sorry. Yeah. Now let me go to the security. Let me select from the starting from here. You'll find the entire name of the file basically. Control C. Now let me close it. Now let me select the, I'm sorry. Now let me select the tally, right? So let me go to F12. It's a configure. As I told you, product and features. Okay, as I told you, manage local TDLs. Already 2 TDLs are there. Let me do Control Alt V. Enter, enter, accept. Okay, this also accepted. So that related functionality will appear in the gateway of Tally if it is a direct functionality. If not, whatever the relevant related feature when you are using, that particular feature will pop up. Are you finding your F7 is the WhatsApp? I'm sure you all can see the screen. F7 is a WhatsApp, you can find it. This appeared because I loaded the TDL just now relating to WhatsApp. I'm not exactly sure what this what. Oh, it is a very simple TDL. When you click a WhatsApp, it is automatically taking you to the web.whatsapp.in. Let me uh, show you this. Once I click this tally, it is taking to the web.whatsapp.com. It is a small TDL, very small TDL. So there are big TDLs where you can directly export your Excel data into the tally so that automatically all entries will get posted. This is a small demonstration with respect to loading the TDL files into your tally. Sir Ravikishore sir, you can go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Sharon. I think I am done with this import,
Great.
so I can directly go into this tally. Right. So the name of the customer is Srinivasa Enterprise. I think is it? What is the name? The name is Srinivasa Agencies. Right. Srinivasa Agencies. Display account book. Okay. So these shortcuts also have changed in the Tally Prime. Are the shortcuts changed? Display, account books, ledgers, Srinivasa. Are you able to view my Tally screen, Saren?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So Srinivasa Agencies Lakshmi Puram. This is one. There are 2 accounts actually. If we go into that and examine, so here what has happened? 54,000 rupees, 54,000 sale 47,000 rupees, amount received 47,000 rupees. The account has been squared off. So 2 sales entries have been entered in this particular Srinivasa Agencies Lakshmipuram, this account. Now we have another Srinivasa Agencies Lakshmipuram account, wherein if we observe what has happened in this also they have entered into certain transactions, and this account has also been squared off, right? So I think there is no mischief as far as these 2 Srinivasa Agencies accounts are concerned, wherein after 2 transactions have been completed, or first they have opened this account, they have done certain transactions, that account has been closed, squared off, and next they might have opened the other account wherein 2 other transactions have been. This has happened maybe unknowingly, that a ledger by name Srinivasa Agencies is already created. So as far as this transaction is concerned, there is no doubt with regard to the omissions or commissions, I suppose. So this is one more thing. And in this fashion, in this dashboard, just I need to change the, I need to change this. Right. Now this audit tool screen is visible, I suppose. So these, let's take another example like fixed assets with a credit balance. Means The asset might have been sold for a price which is more than the original cost or return on value, and the capital gains has not been recognized, or something like that might have happened if there is a credit balance in the fixed asset. Or there may be another reasons, like where a subsidy has been received after some time, wherein after providing certain amount of depreciation, maybe after 4 or 5 years a subsidy might have been received. There may be various causes. We can inquire into those causes where we find any of the entries against this fixed assets with credit balances. Right, accounts with same opening and closing balances means the transactions have not been done in a debtor account for some time because there has been a dispute with that particular debtor. Now this point may be useful when a provision for bad and doubtful debts has to be provided. You can inquire where any one account is appearing. You can inquire with regard to that particular debtor, wherein you are not going to do any transactions for the last, you have not done any transaction for the last 1 year, and still the balance is pending from him. So you can inquire with that particular, with regard to that debtor, and you can ascertain whether any provision for bad and doubtful debts have to be created. Right, my dear friends, one more thing, I will stop at this and we'll go into the other parts when Saran continues for some more time. But before doing that, what I want to show you is, now this checklist, audit checklist screen, what are all the points you have seen? My dear friends, it is not only important that you carry out the audit work, but it is also a documentation is also very, very important as far as the audit is concerned. Somebody has posted a chat message. What is that? Yeah, Chairman sir, please unmute Seren. Yes. Maintaining the documentation is also of a paramount importance. Now you have done all these things. Now we have this Srinivasa agency's case. What we have done, we got some doubt with regard to that two accounts being maintained in the same name with the same GST number, and you have resolved the issue for yourself. You might be remembering that point now, maybe tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow, but after you do, after 1 month or 1 year, you may not be in a position to remember that point. Now here this tool is providing something called as report. Now let me click on report. Now what it is doing is, it is preparing an Excel file. It is preparing an Excel file. What I will do is, I will save that Excel file onto the desktop and open as to what that Excel file contains. Now I will open the desktop. Bear me with a minute because I will be sharing that Excel screen. Where is this Excel screen? No, this is the Excel screen. Right. Now hope you are able to view the Excel which has been generated. Now what it is saying, so what are all the items that are appearing on the dashboard?
Still we are in browser.
No, I have changed this to Excel file, I think. Yeah, I'm able to hear you, Saren.
Now, now it's finding.
Yes, yeah, yes. Okay, right. Okay, right. Now yes. This that report, when I have clicked, I have created an Excel file which has been saved on the desktop. When I open that Excel file, this transactions which were appearing on the dashboard have come. Now let us say duplicate GSTN in different parties. So if I click on this, I need to enable the macros, I think. The hyperlinks are not working. Sharon, can you help me out? Now it is working. Now let's check here. This is Srinivasa agencies. So here what you can do is, when I have clicked on that, I was navigated to this sheet, and now I can give my remark here. Verified and resolved. or something, whatever you want, you can say. Now, when if you save this and if you preserve it as a part of your documentation, this will be a proof that you have carried out a certain work on this particular. Because without this proper document maintenance, you will not be in a position to substantiate yourself on a particular date in the future. Okay, Saran, over to you.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
I hope my voice is clear.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Sir, I was talking about earlier with respect. Friends, you all excuse me because having a bad bandwidth for the last 48 hours, it's continuously raining here at my place. Uh, so the reason been getting band related issues. Yeah. So this file, if I want to save it as a Excel TX, you can put F12 and you can just save this instead of Excel X. You can just use a Excel TX as a template. As I already told you, once you save it as a template, I can make it as master. Like that. So I can set file. I call my staff to save it in .excel tx. The advantage of this is, let's say I closed all the Excel files. Let's say I have closed all the Excel files. Let me open one blank Excel. Now I
Start
just
sharing
open
the
one
screen.
blank Excel file. Yeah, just open one blank Excel file. I'm sure a file called blue. Let me go to the file tab. Let's go to new. These are all the Microsoft first, and you can go to the personal. Once I go to the personal, you can find this smart document. So this Excel file will be open. Showing the now called master data of clients. So every time that exercise means even if you get Excel application, whenever I want to have master data of the client, I can go there and I can work. If there is a change, I can do the change with the master data and I save the, I can replace the template that is available every day. I am doing this because when I talk.
Sharon sir, sorry to interrupt you. Audio is very, I think he's lost the link also. He's there, sir.
If you look into the part B, if this I this summer, okay, just bear with me for another 10. This is issue. Okay, is the summary file made where he has have given from the data in you when business from the revenue layers can have comparables last year or this year. If any ledger account got added in the revenue side, then nobody focus this revenue comes to nature. Either change the basic nature form, then is the case. You can
Right. Sir, Chairman, sir.
Sir, tell me, sir.
What I will do is, you may please once talk to Seren.
Sure,
Okay, it's of no use, I think. Whenever he has a clear connection, he will join with us.
you go ahead.
In the meantime, I will continue, sir.
Yeah, please.
Right. So, having said that, we'll again once again go into the that tool. Now this is the audit checklist part, wherein you can have a bird's eye view of certain transactions. Thereafter, in order to maintain the documentation working papers part of it, here you have a report, and what you can do is you can import that, download that report onto your desktop in the Excel format. You can open it. What are all the issues that has been resolved, and what are all the comments of yours, you can very well populate in that Excel, in that particular sheet, and preserve it for future use. Now, here what you can do is, once certain issues have been resolved, you can eliminate those accounts and reprocess the screen, so that reprocess the transactions, so that now the errors which have been resolved will be eliminated from the errors found list, and thereupon only those errors which need a reporting or which need a further resolution, because you might have worked on this client for a while, let's say 1 hour or 2 hours today, and you want to continue this work tomorrow. So in those situations, you can reprocess that, and tomorrow when you come to your office afresh, what you can do is the unresolved errors will be available for your resolution. Now moving away from this screen for a while, we will go into the next part, that is analysis part. Now Saren started to share the screen.
Sir, really sorry, sir.
No issue, Saren.
Sir, is my voice audible, sir?
Now it's clear and better.
Yeah. So in fact, no one with 2 to 3 phones trying to move from better connection to the best one. Okay, so friends, this summary will give you what are the things you can do. So book document examined, you can use for the documentation. You can see the green color format. Okay, forms where you can analyze when color, that means then more simple analysis.
Current sir, it is completely.
You want to date thing, you do the sector, anything is there.
Current sir, are you able to hear, sir?
What action? Is it simply? Yeah.
Sir, thing is, voice is completely missing and it is giving a lot of disturbance, sir. I could not able to understand even a single word also.
We'll do one thing, Saren. You take a while. Let's say some 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and someone are saying that we will take up this session on another day as far as your presentation is concerned.
Sir.
He's keeping on trying for that. Sharon, for that matter, we may say that your voice is breaking, and also we are not able to catch up as to what you are saying.
Sir, this is the last chance. Maybe if next time if get disconnected, then we can take a call.
Right.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, I'm praying God now with the full heart. So I hope the God will listen my voice. Okay, so friends, I made in such a way the table every class, so that what is the Excel related daybook and what are the filters you can do. So capital asset conversion to stock in trade. Let's say if you get a daybook, how can you identify? It is, you can take a fixed asset register than the daybook. You can look for the deletions or the sales or the reduction, whatever the column you can refer. Then you can check it out. Is there any values inside? If so, then you can start looking whether that is because of fixed asset, that is because of the movement to the stock in trade. Now, amounts not credited to the P&L. So these all you can just look into the balance sheet. if you look into the balance sheet just properly, let's say you can take all the capital receipts and you can start putting the filter, and you can cross check whether is there anything which has to ideally keep, which has to ideally keep it into the P&L. Okay, now L&B, land and building, transferred for the consideration less than the value adapted, for which if you ask me, we can have a filter in the fixed asset register. Then you can check it out, is there any movement, because this clause is only applicable if there is a movement. If there is no sale at all, there is no consideration, no question of value adoption, right? In case of depreciation, again you take the FR. So I'm going to share this file with you. I tried my best giving you what are the important documents you need to take and you can look into. Very quickly, I can just look into this part because I feel this is one of the very important part. This is other way around. Amounts debited to P&L being in the nature of capital, right? So ideally, those amounts must be capital, but to reduce the profit, they have taken this into the debit side of the P&L. So capital expenditure, if you ask me, you can take the expenses ledger, you can just identify for the outliers. Outliers is something a little abnormal, right? Generally, if you buy a fixed asset, the fixed asset value may be a little high. Okay, this is the way which I analyze the data. Okay, maybe if you have a different methodology, you can do that. So you can look into the expenses. You can just look into the outlier concept. Outlier concept can be taken in different ways. You can use a function called large. For example, let me take here a data. Let's say this entire data belongs to the. I'm just taking some random data. Now there's 1,000. Okay, copy paste. Let's say these all are the small expenses. I'm really sorry. These all are the small expenses, right? In between, there is something fixed asset which also added here, right? 1,50,000. Then, since it's a small data, you can immediately identify what this number. If it is a very big data, it's very difficult. So we have a beautiful function called large, which can identify the outliers. You can just select this entire data and you can put comma 1. So what is the meaning of it? I want the first largest value out of this. Then you can look into this transaction. Now what I can do, I can copy paste this. I want to have a second largest value. Since highest number is nothing but something relates to the capital, maybe relating to capital, maybe genuine expenses. So I can look into the description of this transaction. I can go back to the daybook. I can look into the background of this transaction, and then I can verify whether it is really a capital nature or not. Personal expenditure. Personal expenditure, I don't think so anyone in the tally directly put in the narration itself that this is the movie expenses of the partner. I don't think so they can do that. But if you look into the bank statement, because 90% of the cases, whenever it is a personal expenditure through the bank, if it is a cash, obviously if the accountant is smart enough, he can put into some other different expenditure you may not identify. But if something happened through the bank, if they make the payment through online payment gateways, so I'm 100% sure the bank statement description is one of the great evidence. So before you are concluding the tax audit, I request you to take the entire year bank statement, just have a filters for 10 to 15 minutes, and you can find definitely something relating to the personal expenditure. Maybe a small amount. Okay, maybe some 100 items put together, every time 600 rupees put together is 60,000. So it becomes a bigger amount for the throughout the year. Maybe you can search for a restaurant, you can search for meal, or else you can search for the movie or book my show or make my trip. You can try different filters which can give you a proper analysis for this. Of course, you can even put in the narration of the expense ledger if it is available. Okay. So advertisement expenses for the political party. So I'm sure if it is a cash, so it's very difficult to identify if the accountant is smart enough. If not, if it is through the bank, even you are claiming the deduction for that, then you can just look into the bank statement. I'm 100% sure in the bank statement description, the name of the party will come. Then you can just analyze whether it is relevant or not. Then all the club related expenses or clubs related, any of the facility you have taken or anything penalty or fine for the violation of any law. It's very simple. You can just filter for CBDT. So all the income tax related payments will have a description of CBDT or income tax. Or if anything relating to GST, maybe you can find CBIC or indirect taxes or GST. You can put different filters. You can just identify whether is there anything which is relating to the penalty or maybe fine. Okay, expenses incurred for any offense are prohibited by law, even in the bank statement, because when they are when anyone are taking anything with respect to the penalty, I'm 100% sure that maybe into the bank, if that is a bank, you can just look into the bank statement. Otherwise, you can even analyze the ledger. So if you look here, details of the tax, so you can just look into the ledger account and you can filter for different slabs. For example, professional fee, under professional fee there are 50 items are there. Then you can simply make a small pivot table. Then you can just check it out whether any of the total year expenses crossed 30,000 or 35,000 or 75,000, as the case may be, based on the different slabs at different sections, and you can analyze it. So I just made a proper analysis with respect to each and every class. I'm sure that this may be helpful to you when you do the audit. Now, what I'm going to do now, at the end of the day, we need to analyze the data. So let me open one file from my folder. I'm sure you can find a file called raw file of the daybook. This is basically, once you export the daybook, this is the way you're going to get. How to export the daybook? Though daybook is not there, very quickly, let me just show you from the Tally. Once you go into the gateway of Tally, go to the display, then I'm sure you can find the daybook here. Click the daybook, and no transactions are there because just now I created this. If you want to export this, click this. Under E, there is an underline. That means you can use a shortcut Alt E. And by default, it is trying to ask you yes or no. But I want to go back. So if you want to go forward, it's going to be the tab. If you want to go backward in the Tally, that's a shift and tab. Not only in Tally, even in Excel. So shift tab. Then I want to have an Excel format. Then I want to have where you want to export this, and what is the file name, what is the sheet name. If any sheet is already available, do you want to update this, and so on. Then the very important thing, I request you to take detailed. As I told you, detailed is something where you're going to get every information I said. So if something is not relevant, I can delete. But if you take a condensed, you have to compromise with the data what Tally exported, and based on that you should do the analysis. So my suggestion, you put everything yes, let the data be big, no problem. Once you export the data you can find like this. I'm sure you all can find an Excel file. This is the very raw data. Of course, whatever the tools like Ravi Kishores are referring about, in fact, I even strongly suggest if any tool which is readily made available, which make your work much simpler. But some of the cases we may not afford the tool, or some of the cases maybe tool is not relevant for the analysis what we are doing. If that is the case, we have to only trust the MS Excel. So, but whatever the methodology which I'm covering now, this is for every file of the Tally daybook. Whatever the daybook you get it, for every client you can do the same. Now what I'm going to do, I'll just take this raw data, one more copy here. Let me copy paste this data. Now let me delete this top two rows very quickly. As I earlier mentioned, I need to convert this data into the proper structured format. Now let me delete this second row, so that first row must be always headings. Second row onwards, my data is there. So I want to auto fit the data. So what I'm going to do, keep the cursor here, Control Shift End. So once you do Control Shift End, it will select from the starting till the end. I want to auto fit the column width. So you can just go to the format. You can go to auto fit column width, right? Now you can just go to the data. Without unselecting this data, click the filter. As I told you, filters are something which is very important, right? I don't want some of the columns. So these columns are not required to me. So let me remove all these, one second, all these columns, right? Let me delete, right? So this is the debit column and this is the credit column. I can simply do dr /CR. I can make one column little later so that everything will come. Positive is nothing but a debit, negative is nothing but a credit. I did not do any rocket science till now. I just deleted couple of rows on the top. Then I used the shortcut Control Shift End. Then I kept the filter. I removed the unnecessary rows. Now, friends, what I'm going to do here, let me select this, okay, or else let me select this divot. So deselect everything, go to the end, select only the blanks, click OK. Okay, now go to the credit, deselect everything, go to the end, select only the blanks. So if a transaction is not having debit or not having credit, that means it may be an narration or it may be something not related data for my analysis. So let me keep the cursor here, Control Shift End. So it has taken automatically till the end. What I'm going to do, I can do Control minus is the shortcut. The advantage of Control minus is it's going to delete the entire row. Once I click OK, all unnecessary rows got deleted. For your information, the steps which I have done, I filtered for the debit for the blanks. I filtered for the blanks in the credit. Since both are blank, that means not related data, I have simply removed. Now, let me go to the data tab. Let me click clear. So now let me autofit again, Control Shift End. Alt OCA is the shortcut. Otherwise, you can go to the home tab. You can go to format. You can click autofit column width. Wonderful. Now, friends, now what I'm going to do equal to, it's a very simple formula. Many times people ask me, Sharon, how to remove this CR, how to remove this DR. Friends, for your information, this CR is only for you at the back end. Okay, but at the front end for the Excel, sorry, this is only for you at the front end, but at the back end for the Excel is 22090. CR is only the format. To remove this DR and CR, it's very simple. Select this, comma format, 0 decimals. That's all. Now what I'm going to do, equal to this minus this, so that debit will be positive, credit will be negative. Just select this. Let me double click this so that it has taken till the last cell. Okay, let me select this column auto fit. Right now, friends, the very important step which I'm talking now. Have a look, everyone. Friends, if I don't know how many of you are having experience using the SAP data, in the SAP or any ERP's documentation number is very important. They identify every transaction using a unique documentation number. Of course, even in the tally, if you join the voucher type and the voucher number, that becomes a unique item, right? Journal 1 means in the journals, this is a first voucher. In the purchase, this is a first voucher. In the payment, this is a first voucher. If you take all the payments, you'll find the serial number started. But in the ERPs, they take the documentation number. So that is what I'm going to put here, the documentation number. In fact, one of the very important column out of this entire analysis. I'm going to use a small if function. As you all know, if is something which is nothing but a conditional function. If I put if, it's like asking a question to your friend. I'll simply ask the question, cross-check whether this is equal to blank cell, comma. So if you observe, I'm just asking a small question. Cross-check whether the cell is equal to blank. If, friends, the cell is equal to blank, what is the meaning of it? This transaction is repeating from the above. Simple. Whatever above, please take it. If the right side value is not a blank, that means it's a date, obviously, because this column is either having a date or having a blank. If it is not a blank, that means it's a date. If it is a date, what is the indication? Means it is a new transaction. So above value plus 1. Let me close this. I hope you all understood. A very simple plain language. If you ask me to explain, Excel, could you please look into the right side value to this formula? If it is equal to blank, then you take the above value. If not, then you increase the serial number. Let me click enter. Simply copy paste. Wow, check it out. This is transaction number 1. This is transaction number 2, transaction number 3, transaction number 4, and so on. There are 3,485 transactions are there. Okay. Now, after this, I request you to copy. So I'm going to share this file with you. So this is step maybe 1. Now, let me copy this entire sheet here so that you can understand what I'm doing. excuse me. Yeah, this is step 2. Okay. Now I'll copy this data, paste special values, because I don't want any formula. You all know how to make it paste special value. You can just copy this. You can go to the paste. You can simply paste special, and in that you can select the values. Right. Now let me give this name as a transaction number. Okay. Now friends, what I want to do now, these 3 columns, I want to fill the data with the blanks, because when I make a pivot table, I want this date must appear for both items. So what I'll be doing, let me select this, click the blanks only for your information, click blanks. Okay, simple, equal to above cell. Above cell means B2, enter. You may be thinking, okay, why I'm doing this? Instead, I can select the entire data. I can go to F5, that is special. I can select the blanks. But for your information, you need to understand little thing about the tally formatting. For your information, this is not a blank. In MS Excel, many a times Excel cheats us. This is looking like a blank, but this is not a blank. For your information, let me tell you, equal to, is it blank? Let me ask the question. This is not a blank, it's a false. That means there is something inside. Okay, I was just telling earlier, Hyderabad branch, oh sorry, Vijayawada branch, I'm really sorry. Vijayawada branch is conducting a workshop on MS Excel. There is a nice playlist in the website, in the YouTube channel. You can go through that, where I explained about non-printable characters. There are many characters which are there in the cell, but if you really look into that cell, nothing is available. If I keep the cursor, is there anything which is available? No. But when I ask a small question, is it a blank? Now it is coming through because I just deleted. Okay. Now when I copy and paste this, for your information, this still false. So what I'm going to do now, let me select this entire data. Okay. Now I'll be going here. This is one of the very important tool in the Excel. Let me click clear all, so that everything this cell is having, it's going to clear. Let me click clear all. So everything got cleared, right? Now friends, now let me click this one also, clear all. You leave about the coloring, that's fine. Now here also, let me select these 2. Let me go to the end. Let me select these 2 columns. Let me click clear all. Okay. That means this is a blank cell now. Let me remove the filter. Let me remove the filter, clear filter. Now you can do one thing. You can simply put the filter. Now select the filter, click OK. You can simply write a formula equal to B2, enter, right? No problem, because by default, it is looking like a text format. I can make this as a general format, and I can just put F2 and enter. Now I can copy this and I can paste this entire format. Okay, simply you can enter. It automatically pick up the above date, because this is equal to B2. When I copy and paste this here, it is equal to B4, just above value. So in the same way, now let me copy this. Now let me paste in this blank cells. Okay, Control V. So it has, I'm sorry, it has taken, it has automatically taken the voucher type and voucher number. Let me tell you the last 3 steps what I have done. After giving the transaction number, I filtered for the blanks here. Then I removed the clear contents. I used the clear all, so that everything disappeared in that. That means non-printable characters are there. Those are all gone. Then I have selected the blanks. I used a formula equal to above cell. I just copied this, pasted here, as well as pasted the same formula in these 2 columns. That's all. This is the final data. To make this very clean, what I'm going to do, you can copy this. You can go here. Sorry. You can go here, paste special values. This is a very clean data for us. Now let me give bold for the, I'm sorry. Yeah. Let me give the bold. Now this is a date format. You'll get to know how great this file works for us later. This is either debit and credit. You can just put into the comma format. Okay. Now on top of this, you can do every analysis as per your tax audit. Every class, wherever there is a relevance of the Excel. Now, for example, if I want to do an analysis with respect to the cash. But before going into that, let us do some analysis on this. Let me copy this. Let me go to the other sheet, pay special values. For your information, I have copied the ledgers. Now you can just go here. You can go to the data. You can remove the duplicates so that I can find all the unique ledgers. For your information, out of 12,000 rows, 12,200 and odd rows, only 207 remained. That means total ledger accounts in the day book is 207. You can simply have a glance of these ledgers. Then you can identify, are there any personal expenses, or are there any names which we need to use the fuzzy lookup and so on. Okay, this will give you a little glance. Now friends, now I want to do some analysis on this part. What I can do, I can take the cash part, or else you can simply take the payment, right? You can take the payment and you can filter for the cash. You can simply take this entire transactions, copy, then you can paste here. Now paste special values, and you can paste special format also, so that exactly the same format will appear. Now what I'm going to do, I can simply insert the pivot table. Let me insert. Let me go to the pivot table. Let me click OK, right? Now what I'll be doing, I can simply take date in the row side, right? You can just do and filter and group. Then you can take particulars, that's nothing but the ledger name in the day besides the day, or else you can take this here. Then I can have maybe the debit or credit here. Fine. So that you can see on a particular day whether any transaction is greater than 10 lakh. I don't know, Adama India PVT Ltd, this may be a bank transaction. So if you want to take only the cash related, then you can only filter the cash related ledgers out of it and you can start working. Friends, out of this, if I want to take only the cash related ledgers out, so could you please tell me what is the methodology I need to follow? It's very simple. Put the filter for the cash. Let me put the filter for the cash. These all are the transactions, right? So let me go to the new sheet, paste a special value. These all are the cash transactions. Okay. If I want to extract the cash transactions, what I'm going to do?
Yes, I will continue before Sarin joins. Now, let me share the screen of this tool once again. Right, we are into this. If we go into, once we have concluded this audit checklist part, there is something called as analysis part. Now, Benford law. So Sharon is in a better position to explain as to what do you mean by a Benford law. Before he does that, just what I will do is go into the cash transactions for the purpose of analysis with the Benford law analysis. Now, you all know that if not all, maybe most of you might be knowing as to what do you mean by a Benford law. In the Benford law, there is a theory that each number will have certain frequency of appearances. If we go into Asian Paints ledger, this we got the ledger itself, but the Benford law we should get all entries, accounts, or else we'll do one thing. maybe I am not getting the in this particular SSC. Maybe I will take you to another SSC wherein this has worked maybe today or yesterday for me. I don't understand as to why I am not getting here. Let's go into this SSC and go into analysis. And if we go into benefit analysis, you have this cash. Now here also whether I will get the, I am getting the ledger itself, but somehow I'm not. Just a minute. I have a chat box. Saran Kumar want himself to be unmute. Sir, Chairman, sir. Saran, I will unmute you. Just a minute.
Done, sir. Done, sir.
Okay. Saran, you can speak now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
So this, I was just talking about out of the day book, how to extract only the cash related entries. For your information, the biggest challenge when you only take the cash ledger is one transaction is having maybe 5 items at the debit side. Only one item it's going to pick up when you extract. But if you use this method, every transaction will get out. So what I have done, I just filtered for the cash. I've taken all these transactions. I'm sure these all are unique transactions. Let me remove the filter. Now I'm going to use a small VLOOKUP function, cash transactions. What is the function I'm going to write? Equal to VLOOKUP. Look for this value. Check it out whether this value is available in this column. If available, then get that value. If not, exact match. So simple. Check it out. Whenever I am getting NA, that means first transaction is not a cash ledger. Let me show you the formula again. I have taken a simple VLOOKUP formula. I'm just cross-checking whether the transaction number which I have given, is it there in the sheet 8A column? If so, then get that value, because only one column I have selected. I want that value, which is an exact match. If I enter, NA means that is not a cash transaction. Simply copy paste. No problem. Don't worry about the NAs. What I'm going to do now, let me put the filter even for the NA. Now let me put the filter Alt FF. Now I'll just go here. Let me uncheck NA. That means these all are the cash transactions. These all are entries exactly relates to the cash. Control C. I can simply put paste special values, paste special format. Let me rename the sheet as cash transactions, right? Wonderful. Now on this, I can make, if you observe, even the sales, they made it as a cash sales. But if you take only the payment voucher, probably you may go wrong. Sometimes people just want to bounce the person who is doing the analysis. They even entry as a journal entry and they'll select cash as the ledger. It need not to be always the payment ledger. So what I'm going to do, let me go to the insert. Let me insert a pivot table. Let me click OK. I need to consider the particulars. Let's take this. That means these many transactions impacted the cash, right? Let me take the date besides this, and by default as grouped, I don't want any grouping. Let me right click and ungroup, and you can just go to the design and you can put into the tabular form, right? Now let me take the debit or credit here. So this is just the comma format. I don't want actually the cash here because that is one leg. Let me remove this, and these all are the other legs. I'm surprised because the sales transactions happen through the cash and everything is small transactions. You can just check it out. Maybe the cash sales happen so much, and you can simply put the filter. Just check it out. These all are the transactions happened. Okay. Maybe 10,000. Okay, data may not be relevant because I just picked up some data which is available for one of my client and I just renamed all the names and so on. But this is the way you can analyze. You can simply use a simple if function here. Just check it out. If this value is greater than or equal to 10,000. If so, look into this. Yes. If not, no. Simple. just copy and paste. So obviously without wherever totals are there, it's more than that. And you can start analyzing. A very simple thing. You can just put into the ledgers related and you can write a small if function and you can do this. If it is for 216 and ST and so on, then whatever the related ledger accounts you can pick up and you can start doing the same type of analysis. Friends, every time to do this activity, for your information, how I have taken the cash ledger analysis, it takes a lot of time. I know that. Okay, every time, for example, if you want to analyze the capital related ledger accounts, so instead you need to go to the tally again, export the capital, or else you need to filter the capital account and select all these transactions, going back, writing a VLOOKUP, copy paste. Here in this case, you can use the Power Query, one of the very important ETL tool. So whenever I change a name there, automatically everything changes automatically. Since the time is very limited, I'm not going into the Power Query, but let me tell you in a very simplest way how Power Query works. You can just go to the data, you can get the data from any of the files. Okay, what I can simply do, since this is the final daybook which I have prepared, I can take this data into my Power Query and I can get the related data from the Power Query whenever I just change the item. For example, when I go here, when I put a ledger name, when I put cash, when I refresh this, here all the cash related transactions will come. When I put some other name, what are the ledgers we have? Let's go here. I want to know about a transaction called, let's say Rajarao Subbarao, something like that. Once I paste here, if I refresh, now what happened? All the transactions happening with this person will come here. Okay, that is through the Power Query. I'm not going in depth into the Power Query. Already in the Vijayawada branch, in one of the session, I have covered this. Okay, you can just little dig into the side of the Power Query. I'm sure you can get it very easily. Let me tell you, you can import the daybook into Power Query first. Okay, then this you can make one more query. So ledger name as another query. So one side you have a daybook. This is a daybook you have. Another side you have a ledger. So I can combine these two tables. So there is a concept called combine. Okay, combine both the tables using right outer join. Right outer join means out of all these daybook transactions, whatever available here, please consider only those items. I hope you understood. So you can little dig inside. I'm sure you can get this. This is the way you can take the raw data and you can start analyzing. And as I said, you can go and you can start filtering the data. You can start filtering the data for capital accounts or whatever the fixed asset related and so on. That's the reason I just kept here. Now let me go back to my class by class summary. That's the reason I kept here for every class. What is the related item with respect to the expenses at the bank statement, we can take it. Okay, so you can start looking into this, then you can just filter. Once you get everything into the Excel, then the job is very simple. You just need to filter it out, putting into the pivot table to get the total of a particular day. And also one important thing, when Ravi Kishore sir was telling from the software, he was referring credit items in the cash. So you can take the running balances of the cash ledger, then you can simply put a function called min. Min is something which can give you the minimum value. Let's say these all are the amounts is from the cash ledger. Let's say I have minus 5,000. Okay, I want to know what is the minimum value. Then you can simply take equal to min, so that you can identify whether any negative value out of the running balances start from the first day till the last day. Okay, and if you want to know how many times negative value is there, then I can use a function called countf. Then I can select this entire range. I want to know how many are less than 0, right? Just enter. It is just giving me 1. When let's say this is also minus 2,000. Sorry, minus 2,000. You got 2. Friends, this is only for the first time to write the formulas. For all the clients, you can use the same type of formulas, and this itself will make a documentation for you. Okay. Last one part, which I just would like to cover, friends, this is the idea tool, and our institute is in fact kept in the website also. You can download it, the demo version. If not, you can just go to the Caseware idea and you can start downloading the idea tool. Let me tell you where you can use the idea tool much better than compared to your Excel.
Sharon, I
Yeah.
think you need to change the screen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is the idea tool. Friends, for your information, every ETL tool user interface is exactly the same. Left side, you'll have all the files explorer. Right side, you have all the properties. And in center, you have the entire data. So this is like exactly like Excel tabs. And there are so many things you can do it. But I'm not going in depth inside of this. But let me tell you, out of the transaction, let's say there are bank transactions. Let's say this is okay, or else let me take something like the company related transactions. There is a database out, there are 999 transactions are there. I want to take randomly some data. So what I can do, you can just go to the analyze, you can click this random. Why I am referring the idea tool for you, because it is going to create a log for every file what you take. If you go to the history, you can find starting from the first day when I taken this file. In fact, if you observe, on November 10th, I have taken this file, then I renamed the file, then I modified the field, then I indexed the database and so on. It is giving me the entire log. The only disadvantage of the Excel is it's not going to give you the log. But the advantage of the idea is you cannot tamper this log file. So that means even after 2 years, when I dump this data back into my idea, it's going to give me the database at the back end on which dates I modified. Maybe this can rescue us at the time when we are into the regulatory point of view. Let's say if they are asking you a question, Mr. Sharan, I'm not trusting your data. I feel you put up this data now. Then when I made the sampling from the idea, since this cannot be tampered at the backend, so I can show them, sir, this is I have taken the data into my idea, and this is what the history of the data I have taken. If you look, because these all are the files which I have taken, let me take this file. This file has given me the idea itself. So when you basically take a demo, by default, they give you 10 to 15 files for the practice. Now let's go to the history. See, if you take this file, basically, they have taken this, they have imported an Excel file in 2015, September 2nd. Okay, who imported this? Idea web company itself imported. So the data source is Excel. Advanced statistical methods is the Excel name. The number of records 480 they imported. This is what the script of that. Using this data, I have did so much of analysis. I indexed it and I deleted a couple of index and so on. So let me take my data very quickly. So friends, if you want to get your daybook here, you can, let me just close this. You can go to the desktop. Desktop is something through which you can import the data. You can go to Microsoft Excel. You can select whatever the data you want to import. Then you can just select any of the data. Once you select the data, you can just keep on next. So it's like a text column. Finally, it's going to create a file here. I'm not doing that entire steps since I already having a file here. So I would like to tell you how to take the random. So let's take the random. I want to take the number of records. Okay, what I'll do instead, anyway, we are doing, since we have a little time, let me take my Excel. Okay, this is the raw file debug. Since I already kept the debug here, let me copy this data. Let me take it to a new Excel. Now, let me save this file on the desktop. As which okay, debug for idea. I'm just introducing you a new tool. Friends, if you observe, you can find one Excel file having all these fields. Now let me close this file. Now let me go back to the idea. Okay, so that you can also see how to import the data into your idea tool. Who are the students? You can get the demo version directly from their website, or else even our ICA also provides that. Let me go to the idea. Now I can just go to the home. Let's go to the desktop. Then I can take Microsoft Excel. In fact, it is capable of even taking from the SAP data, text data, XML, ODBC, Microsoft Access, and so on. Now you can just give the file name. Let me go to the home tab, sorry, desktop. On the desktop, the file is daybook for idea. So let me select the daybook for idea. Let me click next. So only 5,000 rows and 250 columns will be previewed. However, all rows will be imported. Okay. So since it's a demo version, it is just trying to show you the limitations before working. That's fine. Select the sheet name to import. I don't want, yeah, this is the sheet name. If you have 10 sheets, you can select the relevant sheet. And it is like text to column, as I told you in MS Excel. I want first row must be the field names. If you want to import the numerical cells as a 0, leave it as it is. I don't want to do that. You can put a workbook name, this as idea file name as a daybook for client A. Okay. So if I click OK, it just imported all the data. Friends, for your information, this is in the left side. That means it identified this as a text. This also identified as a text, but this identified properly as a number. So what I'm going to do, I'll simply double click this. I can just change the this we call it as a field manipulation. Let me make it as a numeric. Let me make it as a numeric. Okay, let me click OK. So that this automatically convert into right side, because as I told you, these all are not blanks. These all are little errors. So that's the reason it has given as an error. That's fine, but I'm going to use this column. I don't want these two columns. Now what I want, I can go to analyze. I can just go to random. One of the very important step. How many number of records you want to select? I want to, because total number of records are 1000. I want to take 20. And you need not to give this random number feed, because it's like a small algorithm at the back end. Based on this, it's going to take the random numbers. So do you want to take from the first till the last, or do you want to take from the middle? I want to take from the first record till the last record. Do you want to allow even the duplicate records? Click this, because ideally there should not be any duplicate records. But if anything is there, that will come, and at least it's a point. So let's say in my office, Saran is the staff name and a Saran sample daybook. So that this becomes as an evidence. Once I click OK, it's going to create one more database. That's nothing but the Saran sample daybook. Once I click OK, 20 records will come. Just take it out. These all are the 20 records. It has created under this one called Saran sample. It has given 20 samples, and this is important column that out of the original data, which record it has taken. So it is just giving you that record. Now let me go back to the daybook, and I want to take for another staff. For him, I want to give 50 records for the analysis. Now I want to even allow the duplicates. Now this is his name is let's say Shruti. So Shruti sample daybook, right? You can take expenses. You can take whatever you want. Let me click OK. Once I click OK, it's going to take 30. So this file I can simply send it to the staff. As simple as it. If you want to get this data into your Excel, it's very simple. Just export the data. You can just click the Excel. Once you click into the Excel, it's going to ask you, what do you want? I want everything. Let this be as it is. Let's click OK. One Excel file will get open. Don't worry. Oops. 1 second. Oh, I'm sorry. I should take a proper path. So I need to take the path on the desktop. See, it has already created Shruti sample daybook. But anyway, let me take this on desktop. Let me click OK. So I can simply send this Shruti desktop. Shruti. 1 second. Yeah, this is the file. You can just open this file. You can send across to the staff. So let me share you this is the Excel properly they have given, and you can just send this file to your staff. So the advantage of using the idea is, now if I go back to the history of this file, the daybook I have imported from Excel at 7/24/27th. Then I have taken a sheet 1 and 1000 records are there. That's fine. Then I modified the field. If you have seen, I changed it from the character to the number. This also I changed it from the character to the number. Then there is one more database which I created called Shruti by using a random sampling, and I have taken number of records 50, and I have given a range and so on. So this is a beautiful method, okay, which save us. Now this file is already there at the backend in your idea folder. This can be acted as an evidence later. Okay, there are many methods, not only this method. Since you are asking me about the cash transactions, I can even filter out the cash related transactions only out of this, and I can start analyzing and so on. Of course, earlier, I think in the software, in the application, what Ravi Kishore sir was mentioning about the Benford law, even the Benford law you can find here. If you go here, the explore, you can find the Benford law. You can even find the gap detection. Gap detection is something, if you have 1,000 invoices, you can select what is the field name. Once you find the field name, it's going to tell you where there is a gap. It's going to give you the count of the gap and so on. This is basically a direct extraction, means you can get the data like filtering. So if I want to filter the cash data, I can simply get the cash data out, as simple as it. Okay, so you can just start analyzing this data. I'm sure you can get it and you will feel comfortable. That's all about this. And this join and append is exactly there even in our Excel also. Of course, this also having a pivot table if you really want to have. So I can even have a pivot table of this. This is a idea pivot table. It exactly does the same what we are doing. So let's take the voucher type instead, BR and CR. Let me take the values, no problem. Now let me take my date field here. It's okay. Day wise, I got the column count. So I want to take the particulars here. Let me take the particulars here. Very big data. Okay, each so it looks a little odd. So let me take the particulars and keep somewhere besides my row records. So you got a very quick summary. It's like MS Excel, as I said, but this you can import this data in whatever the form you want. The other important thing, in fact, which I forget to mention, if I click the data, you will go to the data. If you go to the pivot table, you can go into the pivot table. The other important thing is visualize is something you can explore the data, discover insights the active database. So this is like a dashboard. I think Ravi Kishore sir was imported the tally data and it has given some dashboard having all the things, right? Once I click this discover, what it does, it look into my data, it give you the important charts and KPIs. May not be relevant for this data. Maybe if you take only the expenses data, then you can find nice information through which you can get a lot of inferences. Okay, let this discover come. It is just trying to get that library at the from the backend, and it is looking into your data and it's trying to analyze this data. Yeah. So it will give you a quick dashboard. You can understand how many transactions are the sales and what is the maximum transaction and what is the total, how many purchase transactions are there, how many payment transactions are there with respect to the vouchers. See, this all you can even customize. If you want to customize, let's say I want to do some changes to this, then you can click to the settings and you can change whatever the way you want. Let's say cash negative balances. I can just change my settings and which will come. And for your information, every time whatever you do, it's going to save at the back end as a idea script. Let me show you how exactly it works. Whenever, don't save, whenever I go to the history, whatever you do, let's say I don't want to take the pivot table, let's say I want to do the same transaction every time. So I can simply copy paste the script and I can run the script so that the action will happen automatically. Okay, it's entirely a new subject. I'm just trying to introducing to you because whenever you have time, since you are a student, this is the best time to do the R&D. So you can just start looking into the idea. There are wonderful features. And one more important thing, the fuzzy concept what Ravi Kishore sir was mentioning. If you observed the example what he has taken, one GST number is same for two people. But if you look into the names of the person, a small hyphen is different. So earlier in Excel, we are not having any workaround to that. So Microsoft introduced a fuzzy lookup concept, small add-in. We need to download that add-in and we should work out. Thanks to Power Query, thanks to the latest version of Microsoft Excel, now the fuzzy lookup concept is inbuilt in your Excel itself. You can just go to the Power Query while you are joining, you can find a checkbox called fuzzy. That means SARAN, SARAAN. At the back end, when you put a fuzzy, these both look same for the Excel. Okay, in the idea also, I remember there is a plugin based on even the pronunciation, based on even the sounding. Okay, it can group all those names together and it keep at one point. So especially in the tax audit, people use this to overcome the cash related and whatever the 269 ST related amounts. If they want to give for one person 3 lakh rupees on the same day or a particular transaction, okay, with respect to whatever the transaction or any event. So if that is the case, they may give 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. They just add extra A, Saran Kumar. Then other name is Saranya Kumari. Other name is maybe Saran Babu. So all these three looks different for the system, but at the back end for the pronunciation, when it combines together, maybe true or may not be true, that is giving you for the analysis. So you can do the analysis based on your experience, you can get the conclusions. So this is a small random related, I just would like to tell you how it works. Okay, so sir, over to you, sir. Anything?
We'll go through that tool for some more time.
Which
so
one,
that
sir?
we can explore some of the other features which it contain, and maybe you will also be with us for that some more time also.
Yeah, I'll be, sir. I'll be. Of
Right.
course, yeah.
I will share my screen.
Okay.
Right. Now, previously I got a little bit confused with regard to that what you call that Benford law. If I go into the analytics, this Benford law, I thought you will explain what is Benford law. And I clicked on this and I went into the ledger per se. But actually to get the analysis part, what we have to do is, we have to click the select here for Asian Paints, and then you have to click on report. Now this is the Benford law. Now, Sharon, it is over to you to explain. You are in a better position to explain as to what is a Benford law.
Yeah, friends. Okay, just give me 1 second. Let me open a slide so that I can explain better. Just give me 1 second, sir.
Shall I stop sharing my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
I'm just opening a file here so that I can explain the Benford law better. Yeah, friends. As you all know, Benford law is one of the very famous technique in the audit we use, especially in case of forensic audit. Let me tell you very clearly that Benford law will not identify the fraud. Benford law only give you a red flag. Let's say if you are not sure where to start, maybe Benford law will guide you. This is the way, Mr. Saran, you can go and start doing the audit. So Benford law give us a path or way or maybe a point where we can start looking into the audit. So let me explain you what exactly this law. There was a person called Benford. He's an economist. So he invented this law. This is very famously called as a first digit law. Benford's law predicts the occurrence of digits in large sets of numbers, large sets of data. So simply put, this law maintains that we can expect some digits to occur more often than the others. For example, the numerical 1 should occur as the first digit in any multiple digit number about 30% of the times, while the numerical 9 should occur as the first digit only 4.6% of the time. I have to hats off Benford because he is like Einstein or he is like any other scientist, because normally when we look into the data, what we see, we only check it out whether is any transaction happened on Sunday or whether any transaction, because we look into only the angle of audit. But what this fellow has done, he has taken the real-time data, he started analyzing the first digit. Once he started analyzing the first digit, he found a very interesting fact. What the interesting fact, you know? There is a more chance of getting 1 as a first digit 30% of the time, whereas the second digit is only 18% of the time, and so on. There is only a chance of 4.6% of the time the numerical 9 comes as a first digit. So obviously, once he finds this pattern, he just don't left. he started looking into so much of real-time data, and 99.9% of the time for the real-time data, it works out. So he started building a formula for that. You know, what is the formula? Let me go into the formula, the percentages. If you look into this occurrence of 1 as a first digit, he is connecting this concept to the logarithm table, log 10, 1 divided by the digit number plus 1. Okay, if I want to know the occurrence of second digit, it is 17.61%. How it came? Log 10, 1 by 2 plus 1, log 10, 1 by 3 plus 1, log 10, 1 by 4 plus 1, and so on. You may be surprising looking into the real-time case studies. And obviously, when I cover this, you may have immediate thing into your mind that, okay, Sharon is talking something nonsense. Maybe this may not work into every database. I'm talking about real-time data. 90% of the cases it works out. Maybe in a real database, some of the cases it may not work out, but since majority of the cases this law works accurately, whenever there is a difference with the actual data with this percentage, then that is a point for me to go a little in depth into the transaction and do the investigation further. Let me tell you a couple of conditions where Benford law works. The numbers in the data set should describe the same object. You cannot mix sales data and purchase data and apply a Benford law. If you want to apply the Benford law for the sales data, apply Benford law separately, purchases separately, expense separately. Don't mix everything together, because each actual data object is different. There should not be built-in maximum and minimum numbers. That means you cannot have a restriction with respect to the numbers. The numbers has to be freely flowed numbers. You cannot say that these numbers having a highest value of 60,000, lowest value of 40,000. So obviously you'll get more numbers. Your starting number must be either 4 or 5 or 6. You'll never find 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 or after 6. The number should not be assigned. You cannot apply a Benford law for the invoice numbers, bank account numbers, telephone numbers. You cannot even apply a Benford law for the uniform distribution, because you cannot apply a rand between formula, because rand between follows in MS Excel uniform distribution. That means in an indirect way, what exactly the Benford is saying, Sharon, if you find any real-time data, you can apply a Benford law. I'm giving you a guarantee, 90% of the cases, it exactly follow these percentages. If not, then you check it out why it is not following, because when 99% it is following, for this data set, why it is not following, that means this is something little outlier. You better go inside and dig. Ravi Kishore sir, if you permit me for 10 minutes, I'll explain this quickly by taking some practical case study. May not be relevant to the tax audit, may be helpful to the members.
Yes, it will be helpful. Interestingly, when I'm working on 2 or 3 clients, let me give them the example just now, what we have seen, and then I will hand it over to you. If you examine here, this is the base 30%, and it is 27, 18, 17, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6, 5, 5, 4, 5, 4, 4. What does it appear to you, Sharon?
Wonderful, sir. This is actual data. Now, if you ask me to analyze this data, out of the samples, I'll tell to my staff that you please take more samples where the number starts 1 because it's having higher percentage, and remaining all are fairly okay. And second set of samples, I may take more from digit which starts with 5.
Right, that's okay. So what you are telling is the similar data has to be applied for Benford law, and you should not mix purchase with the sale and apply Benford law. So this tool is also doing the same thing, I suppose. You have seen that. Let's check with another thing also. Let's check for this person. Let us say what you call maybe this person, and we'll go for the report. Now here, starting with 1 has some issue, starting with 2 also some issue, and the rest of the things remain to be okay. Is it like that, Sharon?
Sir, correct. Whatever you said is correct.
Right. Now, what I will do is just I will skip into the other person where now let me test you, Sharon, what you will be saying in this regard.
Yeah.
If I go into this, and if I go to report, so, what can you say, Saran?
This is entirely cooked up data, if you ask me.
No. Yeah, of course, it can't be. Of course,
Yeah,
can
maybe.
we say that directly? Because I have found out one logic here. Why
Okay.
this has happened? I have found out one logic.
Yeah, because cash can happen for any object. That can be for sales or expenses or anything. Maybe that's what you were saying. Because you
No,
are applying this for the cash.
when I have analyzed this at depth, what I have understood is this person is making a lot of cash sales, right?
Yes.
If we go into the sales analysis part, the sales reports, in the sales reports, I found out that what
Can I
you
tell
say,
you, sir, one more analysis? Can I tell you?
analysis, tell me.
Yeah, because 4 is the first digit, almost 70%. That means I can say that maybe out of the cash transactions, one item maybe 4,000 rupees or 400 rupees or something 40,000 rupees.
Now, I went into the sales report analysis and
Yeah.
I went into customer wise percentage.
Yeah.
And I found out that 92% of the sales were of a cash.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yes.
one part of it, right?
Yes.
Now, further, when I went into this and went into the Benford law and went into the transactions, what I have thought is, now starting with one means, let us say any person who is a registered dealer buying from this person is going to purchase at a total invoice value which is less than 10,000 rupees. Did you get my point? Because for that person, cash purchases in excess of 10,000, he can't make it in cash.
Okay.
Sharon, are you listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, coming to the other one, here we have 68%. Okay. This is starting with 4. Now, whenever somebody is buying a invoice value which is more than 50,000 under the GST law,
E-way bill.
yeah, you require e-way bill. Correct. As well as you require the what you call this one, the KYC of the other person.
Correct.
So
just to avoid that.
To avoid that, what might have been done is this large number of transactions may be appearing as somewhere between 45,000 to 50,000. That might be the case, but this need not necessarily be a mischief per se. But as far as the analysis portion is concerned, I am of that particular view.
So Kukil Agarwal, sir, one of the participant has given one more important point. This may also indicate cash deposits in the bank less than 50K, because once you deposit more than 50K, you need to give the KYC.
Yes.
Maybe correct.
Yes. So as far as sales is concerned, KYC has been taken care, I think. And also as far as bank deposit is concerned, this KYC issue has been taken into consideration, I suppose. So, but when you have looked into the other person, and if you observe, that person has dealt with somebody, a big company, right? As far as that big company is concerned, almost all the parameters were within the range.
Yes, sir.
Within that range. Now, if we go into this part, what has happened is, if we go into this, and maybe a transaction with this fellow was almost perfect as far as this Benford law analysis is concerned. So that's what I want to demonstrate. So do you want to continue for some time?
Yes, sir. Just another quick live example I would like to take.
Right.
So, though may not be related to our tax audit, but for the benefit of the members, friends, the best data which we can take, the master data, is a NSE data. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll apply the Benford law on today's NSE data. Let us see whether Benford has given proper equation or not. So Bhav copy file is the latest data. So 27th November. So if I open this, you'll find a text file. Let me open this file. Once I open this, you can find, okay, let me open this text file. Let me do Control C. Let me go back to my Excel, any of the Excel. Let me take Excel. So let me paste the data here. I'm sure you all can find my Excel file. Now let me select this entire column, go to the data. Let me give the text to column, and it's a delimited with a comma. Let me give the comma as a delimiter, finish. Friends, for your information, let me tell you, this is 27th November, today's data. Okay. So I want to apply the Benford law on the total traded value. So let me remove all of the columns. I don't want all of the columns. Okay. So that I can at least tell to the SEBI that, okay, whether there are any frauds or not. Maybe SEBI also every day may be looking into the Benford law to, go into the sampling and looking into the transactions. So what I said, the first digit I need to first extract. So how to extract the first digit? Because it's a left side one, there is a function called left. Take this so that first digit will come, copy paste. Left is a simple function which can give you the left side first character. Okay. Now let me take the digit here. Let me take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 because I want to do the analysis here. Now I want to know the actual times, how many times 1 is coming out of this data, how many times 2 is coming out of, how many times 3 is coming. I want to count based on a criteria. We have a function called count if. Out of this entire column, this criteria appearing how many times? So count if, name itself is suggesting what it does. It count the transactions based on a criteria. Okay, out of C column, how many times E2 is coming? Enter, copy and paste. I'm sure the total match with my final total 2031. Check it out, 2032 is there heading if you remove first row. So 2031. So wonderful. Now I want to know the actual percentage. Okay, equal to this divided by this. Obviously, you'll get the percentage. Copy and paste. Don't surprise. Okay, please don't surprise. So this is 2 digits. Benford already referred me some percentage, right? So what is the function? Log 10, 1 divided by this plus 1. Log 10, 1 divided by 1 plus 1, 1 divided by 2 plus 1, and so on. So let me copy paste this data and let me find the difference. So copy and paste. I'm sure this itself is self-explanatory. So this, even if you ask me to take samples more, I'll take the samples out of these 3 more. So this is the way it works. Okay, I've taken the data before you, live data, which from the website of NSE, you cannot suspect that NSE data is a fraudulent data, at least for the session. So it exactly matched. Let me tell you, how can this be identified in our audit? Because let's say, for example, one accountant is there. That fellow is having the authority to sign the checks only till 30,000 rupees. After 30,000, he should go to his boss to get the signature. So if you want to make a fraud, so it's very simple. We can say that he will only sign the checks which are within his limit. So I don't think so. He sign a check of 9 rupees or 10 rupees and so on. So obviously that will be into thousands because you don't want to make a small amounts to make a big fraud. So if you want to make one transaction, almost that should satisfy his needs. So he will make many transactions in such a way that must be either within 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000. There are more chances that all the fraudulent transactions he made either start with 1 or 2 or 3. So when I make an actual percentage by taking that expenditure, when I take Benford, when I compare, I'm 100% sure my first digit, second digit, third digit difference will be more. When I start looking into the transactions within these 1, 2, 3 as a first digit, if I take a proper sampling, I'm 100% sure I'll find at least one transaction which is fraudulent done by him. That is the way we need to work it out. Okay. Thank you, sir. You are referring the Benford using that tool. At least we went into a topic and covered little elaborate. Sir, can you unmute, sir? Sir, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, yeah. Yes, I have done that. One more thing which I want to bring to before the participants is with relate to this relative size factor. Before the data gets processed, Sharon, you can throw some light on that?
Yeah, relative size factor is basically to know the outlier. So out of the expenses, this is basically we use for the subsets. You can use the same thing for the entire data or for the subsets. For example, I am a manufacturing company. I get the raw material from 20 different vendors. So for example, suddenly for one vendor, there is a transaction of 1 crore. And the second highest transaction from the same vendor is only 1 lakh. So the relative size factor is nothing but the ratio between the highest transaction and the second highest transaction. So that gives a ratio. So many people use in this way, they put this minus this divided by first value, or else they'll simply put the first divided by the second highest value. So if it is near to 1 or 1 point something, that means it is a real data. That means outliers are not there. Let's say, for example, if it is something like 20, that means highest value is 20,000, second highest value is only 10,000, 2,000 or else 1,000. That means 20 times there is an outlier. So that's the reason when we take a data, we use a small function called max large 1 and large 2 of every subset. Then we'll put a relative size factor. We will see the highest. In the red color, if you see the screen, what Ravi Kishore sir is showing, 55.5. If I'm not wrong, one highest value is 25,000. The second highest value is 450. It's an audit fee. Okay, that's fine. It is, since we are belongs to the same, so we can ignore. So when it comes to the cash discount, 35 lakh and 95,000 for the same, maybe same vendor. I'm not sure for which vendor this is applied. If this can be applied for each vendor. So for every data set, if you observe, I'm sure you can find it. I think it is for Nexon paints. So 1,90,000, 78,000. Second highest value, 2.43. Yeah. This is at least fair.
If we observe for rent, I suppose the monthly rent is 13,000, but rent for 2 months has been paid once, and thereafter monthly rent has been paid. Or yes, that type of analysis, we can go into that. And if we have any what you call any doubt on any particular item, we can definitely go there and examine in detail so as to understand the issue there.
And just as a small point to add, RSF can be even identified. Basically, the entire concept of RSF came from the outlier. Outlier always, because many a times what we do, we take the average. The meaning of outlier is just because of one outlier, it disturbs the entire statistical methodology. So let's say out of 1,000, out of 100 people, let's say 100 students written the CA exam, 10 students are always extraordinary. They got 90%. Just because of 10 students, you cannot say the average marks in the class is 70%. Because of those outliers, we need to remove that. The best chart to identify the outlier is a scatter chart. You can put the expenses data or a particular vendor payments in the scatter chart. Then you can find the dots, whatever the dots which are very far from the median or whatever the mean, that means those all are the extraordinary transactions. You can look into the RSF of that. I'm sure that will be into tens. Like it's like analyzing the 60 balls of a player on the pitch. I'm sure you can connect to that easily. Sir, go ahead, sir. Sorry.
Yes. And in the analysis, another thing is about the expenses summary analysis, wherein the monthly summary has been given, and anywhere if you find any blank or something like that, you can examine why that has happened. For example, rent is there. You can examine whether previously we are referring that 2 months rent has been paid. So in the month of April, rent was not paid, and you can examine whether the March rent has been properly provided for or not. For expenses provision on a mercantile basis, whether the provision has been made or not. So these type of things we can very well understand. And also we are running out of time, and there are many number of reports wherein you can get a particular sense of the accounts which have been brought to you for the purpose of audit. So I think,
sir, can you show the line chart which you have just shown? Can you scroll a little left side?
Yes, I will do that.
Friends, that line chart is exactly the same concept like spark lines in MS Excel. So,
This one.
Whatever you are finding in the second column, the line chart, you can find in MS Excel. Go to the insert. There is a spark lines. There are 3 charts you can find. One is line, the other one is column, and the other one is win or lose. This can be analyzed. This can be useful for the analysis.
Yeah.
That's
also, these tax audit reports, like where any of the transactions are hit by 269 SS or 269 T, or for example, you can go for what are the 40A3 disallowance under 40A3. So for this, it requires certain settings. It want to identify or tag the ledger names with that. Here you will have some settings wherein you have to give some taggings. As far as possible, it has a tagged at the time of import of data itself, but at the time of import, it could not find the account which is to be tagged with respect of SGST, CGST, etc. Then here what you have to do is you have to tag that particular account to this, so that, and also related parties. You can select all the related, tagging of related parties can be done for 1 year, and from the next year in onwards, it will remember, and it will try to bring out the transactions with the related parties in this particular menu item itself. So there are a host of features which are available. One thing is, when you are young, you are well comfortable with Excel. It is one of the best part. Even today, I tell to many people, I am a person who started, I touched the computer for the first time in the year 1986 when I was in the 8th class, right? My school people in 86 itself, they have purchased computers. I even love to say that I am a student of VPCS Siddhartha Public School of Vijayawada. In 1986 itself, they have purchased a computer and they have trained students. At that time, for the next 5 or 6 years, DOS was there. But still today, I even love to go to the command prompt in the Windows and try to extract certain data using the DOS commands even now. So if you are a young, tech savvy, and you are comfortable with Excel, the best thing to do is what Saran has done. Well, you became experienced, or you have you got less time at your disposal. You want to do many files on a single day, be it at the last part 2 or 3 days of the dead end, then and you are readily accepting to spend some money on these tools, then you can definitely go for them. And or you can have a mix of it. Initially, when you have some time, go for Excel, and in the last few days, when you don't find much of the time, you can go for tools. Or if you have certain extra features in tool or Excel, you go for that particular feature to that Excel or to any of the tools. That's what I want to state to conclude. Saren, your concluding remarks before we close this session.
Sir, from my end, that's all. In fact, before you, I cannot give a concluding remark. You are my boss always. So though I have grown, I've seen you and grown. You can give a concluding remarks and you can close, sir.
Yeah, So I think I'm afraid we have run out of time for this session with regard to tools with relate to tax audit. And over to the chairman, sir, for his closing remarks, and then to Secretary Madam for both of things.
Thank you, sir. Along with the Guru Shishyas, we have traveled all the nostalgia and that is WordStar, Lotus, DOS commands, even with 186, 286, 386 computers, 486. That was first MMX and all these things that are there. And we traveled with that even without any hard disk or a floppy disk. The computer is costing about 90,000 or 1,20,000 at that point of time. Everything we have ventured and all those things are experienced by us. Thank you and for taking through the tools and other Excel based extracting the data through Excel. Friends, it's not going to be done in a day or two. We have to be practice the same in so many times, and then we can able to master over the things. But thing is, it is always it is better to be on the fast track and also in the tech savvy front. So that's all from my side, and I request tomorrow Pechi Tangavel ma'am has confirmed that tomorrow she is going to address of this thing, like clause by clause analysis of form 3CD, form number 3CD. So day after tomorrow might be Sri Priya Kumar also come and explain us about the audit documentation and standards apart from the tax audit planning also. So that's all for the today. Thank you, sir. Thank you. But the thanks part, I have to leave it to my secretary. So that is our domain. So thank you very much. And my dear colleagues, it's over to our secretary, Shita Shireen ma'am, for the vote of thanks.
Yeah, before that, Madam Secretary, just a minute. Someone in the chat box is posting that they want some sessions on Excel. I may say that in the Vijayawada branch channel, already Seren sir's Excel sessions are there. We are conducting a 25-part series on Excel. Already we have around 6 or 7 sessions are already.
9 classes are over.
9 classes are over.
9 classes are over, and the rest of the things will also be placed on that playlist itself. So you can very well search on the YouTube for Vijayawada branch, and you can search for the playlist workshop on Excel.
No, sir, they can also join for the live classes also. Tomorrow is also, there is a class in Excel. So they can also join for the live classes also. There is no problem, absolutely. They can also view the playlist of the Excel by clicking onto the Vijayawada branch of SARC of ICI playlist for the workshop on Excel. Thank you, sir, and over to ma'am.
Thank you, Saran Kumar sir, for your excellent deliberation. Instead of small technical clinches, you tried a lot, maximum extent to deliberate the things. Really, it's a great thing on your part. We are fortunate to have you, sir, like resource persons like you. And you have updated on TDLs and various Excel tools like Power Query, Benfordla, etc. It really would have value added to our members and students. And thank you, Netara Kishore sir, for your excellent presentation on MDA tool. It has really great features. I'm sure that all the members will definitely subscribe immediately after listening to this your session. And thank you for updating on latest tools. Already I said he has very helping nature. Today also he came to rescue to deliberate the things. And thank you all the members and students for your participation. Please attend for tomorrow's session also. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all for the day, and we'll call it for the day.